Welcome everyone to the bonusXP podcast, the most professional game and talk show on the internet. And I say that in a very real sense this week because it's going to be a bit of a shit show probably. We are your home for the latest games, the latest news, the latest goings on in the industry, and the most prestigious award in gaming, the Nerd List. I'm joined, as always, by my co-host and general all-round fanny flap, Martin. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good, sir. Did you notice I actually waited? I didn't ruin your intro for a change.
Yeah, well, I mean, I would say the episode's fucked before we started, but let's go on and pretend.
It's fine. Nobody's noticed a thing.
No, definitely not. So we'll start as we always do. Actually, what I wanted to ask you before we got started, at the end of the last episode, I told you quite forcibly that you need to watch Kung Fury.
Yes.
Is that a thing that's happened?
Yes.
And
that's happened. And I'm pretty sure there was something important in my brain that film's now taken up the space of.
I doubt it. There's nothing more important than Hacker Man or Triceracop.
That was the weirdest thing I think I've ever watched. Like,
it is so
that's
good.
Up there. That's up there on levels of what the hell am I watching with things like Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. That was a strange film, but it was awesome.
Did you enjoy it? Like, because of course there's Hitler is in it, and Hacker Man, and Triceracop, and some like incredibly old bodybuilder who was playing Zeus, and
of course Hitler's ultimate goal was to be the best kung fu
Führer.
master of the Kung Führer. That's it. The whole scene where he's going through taking out the Nazis all single-handedly was just basically beautiful. Mwah.
Yes,
awesome.
I agree. And I mean, if we could all be as cool as Hacker Man, then the world would just be a better place, don't you think?
I thought you were Hacker Man.
I wish. In my soul, I wish.
I just, the thing that sums that film up, I think, has to be the line of, I don't know. Oh yeah, I could hack through time.
I mean, we probably could. We're just not clever enough to do it yet. We're not as clever as Hacker Man, so I mean, I think we'll get to that point one day, to be honest. Yes, I just wanted to get that out of the way. So I'll do the quick housekeeping thing. You can watch us live every Sunday at 6 p.m. GMT live here on twitch.tv/Lim89. You can come hang out and call Martin a scrub live in person. It's very exciting. And then we follow up on Monday. The VOD goes up on YouTube. You can catch it there. And then on Wednesday, the audio podcast goes live on all podcast services around the world. SoundCloud, iTunes, anything you happen to like on Android, we're everywhere. So we'll start the show as always with what we've been playing this week. And do you want to kick us off?
I can do, but I first have to make a request. Can you not refer to that as housekeeping, because it makes me imagine you in the I Want to Break Free Queen music video?
Yes.
And that's not an image I need.
Well, you got it now.
Yeah. I have recently finally got it working. Been diving back into a bit of Jade Empire.
Yes.
Which, for anyone who doesn't know, on PC. For anyone who doesn't know, I believe it was made. It was either made between the two Knights of the Old Republic games or between Knights of the Old Republic 2 and Mass Effect. It was
between 1 and 2.
Was it between 1 and 2? Right.
Yes.
Interestingly, as we mentioned Final Fantasy IX last week, saying, oh my god, like, we must have sucked when we were young. I don't remember Jade Empire being this difficult, and I think it's down to the bad controls.
Were you playing a keyboard or controller?
I'm playing it with controller, as I did originally on console. The movement and everything, it hasn't aged well. The whole basically, let's put it this way: you as you do in normal things, you use the left mouse stick, left analog stick, mouse stick. What am I on?
What the
To
fuck
move
is wrong with you?
forward and backward, and right analog stick to move the camera. But because it's a kung fu RPG, you want to be able to sidestep. But the second you move the left analog stick out of directly up, you're strafing. So even when you're just walking around a town, you start strafing round corners, like you're going to attack the building. It's kind of strange, and also the camera angle. Oh my god, the camera angle for you can't always tell whether you're actually in range because the enemies are always in front of you, and you can't see the distance very well between you and the enemy. So it's really hard to actually land. Sometimes I'll charge up my big powerful attack and they'll just stand there and it will whiff in front of them and then they'll punch me in the nads. So
like, bitch, please.
Yeah,
Come
exactly. So I know it's a good game. I remember loving the story and loving the game itself. I've just feel like I've got to fight the controls.
Those are just not aged very well.
No,
it's one of them things that it's better in your memory than actually going back and experiencing it again.
Yeah, I might try playing it with the keyboard and mouse instead to see if having
makes a difference.
WASD movement makes it any better, because when I replayed the 2 Knights of the Old Republic games, I used keyboard and mouse and had no problem. So it might just be dodgy controller controls. So we'll see, but it's still a good game, and it
was on console though, weren't it? When it first came out, it was on the original Xbox.
Original, yeah.
Yeah. So.
And so, like a lot of people, when I was looking it up before I re-downloaded it, a lot of people were saying, "Oh, you got to get over the graphics and stuff." I still don't think it looks too bad. Like, I don't think it's terrible. It's not unplayable. I can look past the graphics for a good story.
Just needs to play well.
Yeah. My kung fu character, who of course his last name is Wang.
Of course.
I'm still in the starting area. I'm just because I seem to remember having real trouble in that game towards the end, because I didn't understand how RPGs worked back then, and I just blitzed the story missions. I didn't realise that doing the side missions and stuff got you extra stuff that made you better.
Especially in BioWare games, like loyalty missions and all that kind of thing.
When I played it the first time, I seem to remember thinking, "Oh, these boss battles are really hard and stuff," like when you get against the big enemies. So now I'm taking my time and doing all the little missions to get the extra techniques, they call them, which are basically just stat boosts in the background, but it's like it says it as if you've learned a new martial arts technique. So I'm still enjoying it, but I just need to get over the controller issues.
Yeah.
Have you ever played it?
We talk about him a lot on this show, but it was a blockbuster job, that one. I rented it. I never played it and beat it. I've got it on PC. I have actually got it on PC. It's in my Origin library. I have got it. So
Origin library. I had it on Steam from ages ago.
I got it in a bundle.
It's rare that something gets released on both Origin and Steam. They tend to try, and if it's on Origin, they try and keep it on Origin.
Yeah, this is true. But then some games before a certain date, I think they've allowed to still be on Steam, because like the original Mass Effect, and I think Mass Effect 2 as well, are both on Steam, but the third one definitely isn't on Steam. No,
and you definitely can't get the trilogy on Steam either.
No, you can't. So they're just a bit funny like that. But yeah, I've got it on Origin.
It is good. I think I'm just desperately trying to find old good RPGs to tide me over until the new Mass Effect, because I will be completely enveloped by the new Mass Effect unless they colossally cock it up, which that will probably be the end of BioWare if they colossally cock up the new Mass Effect, because everybody will riot.
Well, and also it seems like with EA Studios, it only takes one bad game for them to just shut them down.
Yeah.
You get one punt a game. If it's bad, you're fucked, basically.
I'm in a world of cynicism and a lot of dodgy shit going on in the games industry. I am quietly optimistic for Mass Effect because, as I've mentioned before, the original trilogy is my favourite series of all time, and they did it even with the ending of 3 controversy. I think they did it amazingly, and there's so much they can do with it. Like, they'd have to really try to cock it up.
Don't underestimate EA though, mate. Don't put it past them. You're saying about wanting old RPGs to play. Have you still been playing Final Fantasy 9?
I have played a little more, not very much. I haven't had a lot of time, unfortunately. I'm currently in the village. I can't remember the name of the village. The one where you, I think it's the one where Vivi first finds out, like, when you first walk into there, everyone's looking at Vivi and like, what the hell? Oh my god!
Yeah, the village before Lindblom.
Yeah,
that's where I know what you mean. Still quite early on then. So yeah. I played it a fair bit this week. I've finished disc 1. Like, there's no disc swap thing, obviously, because on Steam.
But you remember where disc 1 ends?
Yeah, exactly. I remember quite distinctly where it ends, and I'm now at Trino with Nipple and Buttface have just hit Trino. So
I have done my first couple of Tetramaster games.
Yes,
I won them.
Yeah,
but I still don't fully understand how it works.
Well, it's funny you say that because I was playing it on stream and there was someone jumped into my chat, and of course because Twitch they ridiculed me, but they said judging by your plays, do you not know what the numbers mean? I was like, no, I'm just putting an arrow against where there's not an arrow and hoping for the best. And like they explained it, and like there's physical damage and magical damage and stuff, and like the numbers actually mean stuff, and then you can like if your numbers or certain like stats are better than their cards, you're more likely to win the duels if the arrows match and stuff like that.
Right. Does the game ever actually, because I know that all the cards have got the weird numbers and letters on them, but it never, I don't think it ever actually explains that. Like, even in the Tetramaster tutorial bit, it just explains about the arrows, doesn't it?
Yeah, no, where have you had your first encounter where there's the two Moogles talking outside of where you meet Queena?
Yeah.
You've had that you get it there. That's where the number information is, because I always skipped all of that stuff because I don't need no game telling me how to play the game. I'll wing it and then realise I don't actually know what I'm doing generally. But
that sounds like your normal play style.
Yeah, so I'll figure out, wait, I don't know what I'm doing. What? That's generally how it goes. But yeah, if you look through the Tetramaster stuff for them to, then that's where the stuff about the numbers and that is. But
I must have completely glossed over that.
Yeah,
there we go.
You don't need that. You can just guess.
Basically, the two Tetramaster games I've won have literally been because I just pick the cards with the most arrows on them.
That's exactly my technique. It's like if I get a flan which has an arrow on every single side, I was like, fuck, that's a good card, I'll have that, even though like the flan's the worst card.
I wait until quite near the end of the game, basically let the opponent take near enough all the cards on the board, and then with my last card set off a chain reaction to flip all of them.
Hopefully.
That's basically my tactic.
Yes. But that only works if you have something that's better than a flan, basically.
Yeah. Well, I do have, in my first one that I won through sheer luck, I got this weird dragon card, which seems to
be good.
When I put it down and it does numbers, it does very high numbers. So it
works. Well, that means good, I think. Yes. So I did have a perfect loss to a little girl who seemed like she was about 5, and she did take all of my cards in one of the games I played, which was really embarrassing.
Oh, I forgot that if you
that's a cool mechanic if you win.
Yeah, I forgot that if you flip every single card, they take the lot. Oh,
yeah. But it works vice versa. If you flip every single one of their cards, you get all of them, which is also bad if you're playing against a 5-year-old little kid, because you think you probably saved up all your pocket money for all those, but I'm fucking having them anyway.
As last week, Neko
exactly.
Got beaten by adults and then stole kids' cards.
I know.
He's a dirty
Grinch. Yes. Yeah, I played a bit of that this week. I don't know. I'm trying to work it out roughly at a disc a week, roughly.
Yeah,
because that's relatively doable.
See, the way I am with RPGs, I like to sit and devote a lot of time to them. I don't like picking them up, and they're not the sort of game you can pick up and play for 20 minutes and then put down.
No, you can't even do a cutscene in that time sometimes.
No. So I'm just trying to find a point where I've got a nice amount of time and I'm not too tired, because that's my problem. Is when I annoy myself when I'm in a battle, and it's like I click on the wrong thing. It's like, all right, fine. I hate being tired and making mistakes just because I'm not thinking through properly.
Yeah, and considering how slow the combat is in that, you notice your mistakes
a lot. Yeah,
this is true.
I keep going to hit the button on the keyboard that makes Vivi's magic hit every enemy, and accidentally hitting J, which triggers auto attack, which makes Vivi just run forward and twat him with his staff.
You do 4 damage. Yeah.
It's like, stop it.
I has done that too, to be fair. But I suppose move on to different game. So there's something I've never talked about on this show, but I play it every single week. And I guess I should probably talk about it at some point that I play it, as I played, because it's very much a love-hate relationship, but I played quite a lot of Rocksmith this week, because people who know me from the stream and stuff know I have endless amount of audio issues with that game, being able to stream it and stuff. But I finally got it up and running again this week, so I must have spent I don't know, a good 10 hours of playing that this week. And I was made aware of the light and the future of music that is baby metal. So I've been playing quite a lot of them.
Sorry, what?
You've never... let me educate you on baby metal. The greatest band ever made. Japanese metal band with 3 high school girls as the lead singers. A proper heavy sort of power metal band like Slayer, proper heavy music, and then J-pop Japanese vocals. It's has been heard to be. Yes. I'll send you some links to some of their songs after the show, but they're something else. And one of their songs on their new album, they've got the 2 guitarists from Dragon Force to play the guitar for it. So you get the idea for some of the music. Yeah, I guess. It was quite fun. But yes, so anyone who's not sort of familiar with Rocksmith, it's essentially, as you can imagine, games like Guitar Hero and Rock Band, where you have notes coming towards the screen and then you hit it in time with the music sort of thing. But the difference is you're playing with a real guitar. So you plug a real guitar in with a 1/4-inch jack into a USB port, so it can go into consoles or your PC, and then you learn the songs, which is really good, because for people who are just starting out and don't really know how to play guitar, there's loads of tutorials, and they teach you each step, from just how to play a note to how to play chords, and it builds you up. And there's little mini games and stuff, but it teaches you by playing your favorite songs, and it's a really cool way of learning, I think.
Yeah, not always your favourite songs, because the bonus of you doing it on stream is that people get to pick from the track list you have. And
This is true.
I do remember one wonderful stream where I got you to play Zigga Zigga or Wannabe, whatever it's called, by the Spice Girls.
This is true.
Which
the benefit
was an interesting few minutes.
Benefit or drawback, depending on how you look at it, for doing it on PC is there's custom DLC where people make their own tracks. Like they track their favourite songs that aren't already on the disc, and you can just play, literally anything that people want to see, which is how I got Baby Metal and stuff. And yeah, I've got Mbop by Hanson is on there. I've got the Power Rangers theme, I have that. Pokemon theme, I have that.
I think I definitely need to see you at some point play that funky music, White Boy.
I'm pretty sure that's one that you can get. I don't know if I've got it, but I'm pretty sure it's on there.
Well, that's your homework. You need to go and get it.
Yes. Yeah, that's great. For any sort of like young budding guitarists and that's a really good way of learning, and it teaches your songs at your own pace. Like you start off only playing the bass notes of a song, and then you build up until you're playing every single note of the song and stuff. It's cool.
Yeah, it's a good learning tool.
It is. And then if you already know how to play guitar, you can just whack it up straight to the top difficulty, and it's just a fun way of mixing your favourite music and games. Like, you can do both.
Is it because I've only watched you play like random songs. Is there any sort of like Rock Band had a career mode? Is there any sort of thing like that in Rocksmith?
Honestly, I don't know. I just go straight into free playing, go for it. I've never once ever tried to do any form of career. I know the second one definitely doesn't, but I don't know if the first one tried to do anything like that, to be honest.
I do like games that I think the technical term is gamification, where they teach you something while you're playing. It's like at the moment, out of PAX, one of the games that's turned up is a RPG, I believe, but it's a typing tutorial.
So like House of the Typing Dead or whatever they called it.
But it's actually supposed to be good. Like they've I will very quickly jump. I know what I will find it. It is called Epistory Typing Chronicles. And you remember back in the day the old typing games we had in like middle school and stuff to help us. They were crap, basically. They were just shillware load of old rubbish. But it's nice to see that there's actual games getting made out that also help people with different skills. Like if you are a young kid and you like games but you're not very confident with a keyboard, there's now going to be a game to really help you and things like that.
That's one of the greatest things about Minecraft. Like I've never massively got into it personally, but it's great for teaching kids to create things and build and be creative in a way where you're not just like mowing down shit tons of people in Call of Duty or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah.
Not that I'm saying, I mean, how old were we when we played GTA on PS1? Like, the hypocrites that we are.
I'll be honest, I never played GTA on PS1. My first actual Grand Theft Auto was Grand Theft Auto 3.
Was it?
First one I ever played, and...
Were you 18 when you played that?
No, I wasn't. But the interesting thing about that is because my first instance of GTA was the 3D version, I've never really been able to go back to those old ones and enjoy them.
Yeah, the only good one for me is Chinatown Wars. What was that on?
PSP.
Yes, PSP. That one you can go back on because it's a modern built top-down one. Like the old ones, like I picked up GTA London for 50p on PS1. Just going back to it, and you just can't. No. Like the way the cars move and everything is just terrible.
Have you ever played Retro City Rampage?
Yes, I do. I have that.
That started off as a old GTA ripoff, didn't it? And then he made it into a full game. I've always looked at that, but never actually played it.
Oh really? Well, it's in my Steam library if you ever want to try it.
Yeah, I have to sort that out because new computer, so I've lost all my shares.
Oh no, tough shit now.
I know.
Can't come crawling back to my 400 games, all of which I really haven't played because it's shit from bundles and fucking
we won't
crap. I don't actually know what they are, like most of them.
We shouldn't really mention the things I have to do to you to get a favour on stream, really. So
no, don't come cheap. No. So what else have you been playing this week?
I
should probably move on.
I can't remember the last time I mentioned it because, like you said, with Rocksmith, it's an ongoing thing that I keep jumping into. But I've been playing a lot more Rocket League and getting extremely salty with the people in the ranked games who obviously don't know how to play the goddamn game.
Yeah, you tell
it does really frustrate me when people's tactics seem to be hit the ball. Don't care where it goes, just hit the ball. Whereas, even though it doesn't look it, there's a lot more tactics to that game.
At a high level, there definitely is, yeah.
Yeah, especially when you get
see it in like the pub games with like rookie level players. Like it's just a fucking free for all of it going fucking everywhere.
And that's kind of why I go into the ranked games to try and get away from that. But what the problem is, you get one person on a team that's just smacking it anywhere. Basically, you get a U.
Hey, fuck off! I'm well good.
and you start losing, and then the other people who want to play it properly are just like, well, we're fucked, and vote to forfeit straight away. And if you don't vote to forfeit, they'll leave. So, and in ranked games, you don't get new people join. So then you're down. So you're going to lose anyway. So it's a bit give and take. I hope if I climb the rankings a bit more, I'll get more away from those players. But everybody should have a chance to play. But the whole point of a ranked mode in a game is for the people who kind of want to take it seriously a little bit.
Well, with it, with you know, in relativity.
Don't want to just go nuts. I mean, I've got no problem jumping into an unranked chaos game and just going apeshit because it's fun. But when I'm in the rank mode, I like to try and increase my rank. And when people are dicking me over and my rank drops, I get a little bit salty.
It's not like you.
No, of course not. But no, I'm still perfecting flying. I'm not really great at
that
flying.
Is the thing that sort of defines the good players from the excellent players. Like that's the threshold until you can learn how to do all of this crazy flying shit. Like there's only so good you can get, I think.
Yeah, I've started to get it, but what normally happens 9 times out of 10 if I attempt to fly is I get near the ball and then flail about and miss it.
So you've made no progress then, essentially, is what you're saying.
No, because the 1 time out of 10 I'll actually hit it. It won't always
but in
go
a productive way.
Yeah,
you scored from it.
I have scored from a flying goal. I scored from a flying goal last night, actually, which
I get a trophy for that, right?
Myself, so I think so. I don't know. I can't remember. But I still love it. It's one of those games that you can just drop into and have a few games, and it's gorgeous as well. All the different arenas and stuff. It's really nice to even just look at.
It's going to get an injection of life this week, isn't it? Because there's basketball this week.
Yeah, the new basketball
Wednesday, I think. Tuesday, Wednesday.
I do think they've been a bit cheap on the pay for content with this, though. Is literally just they've added all the NBA flags, and you have to pay for them. It's like, no, this is probably the first DLC that I'm not going to bother paying for.
No, because I bought the Back to the Future car, but I think
I got the Back to the Future car. I got the Batmobile. I've got all the DLC, because I like having all the customization, and my demonic weird land shark. Oh, my car just looks fucking weird. Like, it's got the decal on it where it's got a weird shark face, but it's got demon horns, and yeah, it's just a bit weird. But there we go.
Well.
So,
have you been playing anything else?
Have I been playing anything else? Let me have a look on my footer and see if I've... Apart from my ongoing addiction to Dragon Age off and on, not really, to be honest. Have you?
Yes. So I've been playing 2 other things. One I will talk about more next week, like, because I've literally only started it today. There was a sale on, and I picked up StarCraft 2 for like £4.
Ooh.
So I mean, I've just done the tutorial and the first mission, so I mean, I'm really not far enough in to talk about it too much, but
not normally your sort of game.
No, but it's just one of them like massive games that I've just never even tried, and I think for that price, you know, £4. If I don't like it, I'm not too out of pocket from it. So
I would say if you do end up enjoying it, and I don't know what price it is at the minute, but getting the Heart of the Swarm DLC,
they were like £10 or so.
Yeah.
And someone in chat is saying, why didn't we pick up Stardew Valley? And so, I'd rather die.
Like,
no.
I understand there is a group of people that like the Harvest Moon, Farmville type of games. Nah, that sort of game puts me into a coma. It's too much busy work. It's doing a job while you're... I mean, yeah, this is coming from the guy that plays Euro Truck Simulator, but it's not weeding for 10 hours.
Yeah, I know. I it's just beyond me. Really is. Yeah, so yeah, I'll talk about StarCraft next week, like once I've hopefully done a few of the missions and stuff. But so the other big one I've played this week is Ratchet and Clank. That's that can make this. Have you got Ratchet and Clank?
I want it because it's been a long while since a decent Ratchet and Clank game's come out.
So did you what's your history of the series? Have you played the old ones?
I've played the old ones. I think whether it be I owned them or rented them, I think I've played at least a bit of everything apart from, I think it was the last 2 that were the weird sort of co-op-y, not proper Ratchet and Clank games, wasn't it? So
the Insomniac ones were the PS2 ones, and then they did Tools of Destruction, Quest for Booty, and Crack in Time. And then after, that's still my favourite one. I mean, I haven't finished this one yet, so still a bit too early.
Yeah.
But like after that, there was like Q-Force, which was like a tower defense thing. There was All for One. There's a bunch of these other ones which weren't them. They did Into the Nexus. I think it's called Into the Nexus, something Nexus, which was sort of a proper one, and it was okay. And then after that, like it's been like a bit of a while, and now we've got this one, and this one's a remake of the original one, sort of.
Based on a game.
Yeah, essentially yes, because like they're rebooting it. It's not a complete. It's not like a.
It's not
like a remake. Like it's a reimagining is the way I describe it, because that's added some new mechanics. Like some of the areas aren't identical to what they were in the original. They're sort of upgraded and they feel familiar but fresh. Yeah, that's the way I describe it. Like it's a stunningly beautiful game, stunningly beautiful. Like it's pushing the PS4, I think. Like other than Bloodborne, Yeah, it's exclusive to PS4. It's other than Bloodborne, it's the prettiest game on PS4. I think. I mean, Uncharted 4 is likely to beat it, but
yeah.
All the time I've spent with it, I've loved so far. From what I remember of the original one, I'm about halfway through ish. So I reckon by next week I'll have finished it up, and I give like a proper full verdict. But anyone who had any kind of attachment to those series, like the original time around, this is a proper return to form. It's not one of the shitty, like one of the shitty ones. That's made by Insomniac. It's back to form and it's fantastic. So I really should get it. Yes, and he's still fucking awesome.
I love Quark. Did you on the same sort of vein? Did you ever play the Jack and Daxter games?
Yes, and they were done by Naughty Dog, but I never had the same love for those that I did for Ratchet and Clank. I did enjoy them, but I didn't love them like I did with Ratchet and Clank. Like I got the HD trilogy for PS3 for Ratchet and Clank, and I just went back to them, and I just compared to Ratchet and Clank and Sly Cooper, like those series I absolutely loved with a passion. But I don't know what it was. The characters didn't grab me. I didn't like Daxter very much.
I love Daxter. I think the biggest issue the Jack and Daxter games had was they tried to be a weird GTA type thing. They tried to do the open world thing, and it was better keeping it to strict levels. But the main reason I mention it is I don't know whether you watch Screw Attack's Death Battles, but
I've seen some, yeah.
Yeah, the new one is Ratchet and Clank versus Jack and Daxter, which I think
who wins. I don't know. Who would you say wins?
See, I think purely because of the power of Dark Eco, Jack and Daxter will win.
So through hacks?
No, because Ratchet's only attacks really are through the weapons he has, hasn't he? He hasn't got anything really magical. So
no, but he does have like the pixelizer. He has the Grievatron. So I mean, if he just even tries to go on.
Sorry, was the pixelizer in any of the older games?
No, that's all. They said it's a new thing because of the particle effects, like what they can do with PS4. Like that's one of the cool new things for this one. Like you can turn anything you fight 8-bit. It's just the best,
including the friendly NPCs.
Yeah, you can if you might, maybe accidentally.
I saw you pixelize a few NPCs.
If they get in my way, it's their own fucking fault. I'm a man on the edge. I don't give no shit.
But the what is it, Zircobot or whatever, Mr.
Zircon. Yes.
Zircon. My favourite weapon. Just deploy a psychotic little bugger and.
Yeah, well, he's great for crowd control when there's a lot of enemies sort of lurking. Like he can sort of pick a few off so you don't get swarmed in. So because you're listening to Bonus XP podcast, the most professional gaming podcast on the internet, we've now decided we're going to have a guest. Well, how far in are we? About an hour. You know. So, this week we are joined by Ellen. And then we wait for noise. Ellen, can you hear us?
Can
you hear sounds?
I can hear you. Hello.
Yes. There we go.
Ellen.
There's an Ellen.
How are you doing?
I'm okay. I had a bit of a family issue this morning, but I'm okay.
No, family takes priority, but
yes.
Nice to see you here now.
Nice to see you.
I mean, to be fair, we haven't spent that much time talking about games of actual relevance anyway. We've just been waffling on shit, so...
Oh, okay.
Every week.
This is true. So, Ellen, do you want to do an intro? Who are you? What are you doing here? What's going on? Ellen, do we have sound?
I know. I was just preparing myself.
Oh.
My name is Ellen. Well, everybody calls me Ellen, but my name is Auraellen, or Classy Lady Laura if you're going to my Twitter. And I'm a moderator on different sites, and also I teach at a university.
Ooh, we have a learned person among us.
Yeah, I know. Puts us all to shame. So, because you're really clever and work at a university, you're going to smash the nerd list, right?
Oh yeah, of course, most definitely.
Because after we find out what you have been playing this week, you have just snuck in time to get placed on our nerd list. So I hope you. This is
true. So before we move on to said nerd list, is there any games you've been playing this week other than Ratchet and Clank?
Other than Ratchet and Clank?
Yes.
I have been playing golf with friends, which is much more interesting. A lot of people seem to be playing that more now as community games, which is interesting.
So, what is it like? Obviously, golf, but
so yes, Golf with Friends is a early release game on Steam. It's basically like a mini golf course. You can play with your mouse, so you're using basically point and click to get your ball around the course. But you can play with up to 12 people from around the world. Someone hosts the game, and then you come and you play with them. And it's being played by a lot more community-based streams now on Twitch, which is very interesting. So that and Shell Shock seems to be some games that people are playing more with
Shell Shocked,
especially on Twitch. Yeah.
What is this?
Shell Shocked. What is this? Shell Shocked is like Worms. If you ever played Worms,
yes.
Before, yeah. So Shell Shocked is basically Worms. It's in early release as well, so there are some bugs with the game. But you play against other people from around the world again. You can play a single player mode where you've got to destroy enemies, destroy targets. Very much just like Worms, but a release game as well, so not fully released.
So do you have like different like weapons, different abilities, and that kind of thing?
So you gain different weapons, different abilities as time goes on. So you get other weapons. For example, one of the more basic weapons that you get when you start is one-shot balls that you shoot at your enemies. As time goes on, you get things like bananas, which you fling at your enemies and things like that. It's a lot of fun.
You get a concrete donkey, or an exploding granny, or
you get an exploding piñata.
Piñata, nice.
Yeah.
Well, that's definitely a thing.
See, when it comes to Worms type games, I'm quite one of my favorite Worms games is probably one that most people hated, and it was Worms Forts.
Oh, okay.
So that one of the 3D ones, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was the second 3D one. It was the one where basically to use those higher powered weapons, you had to build different emplacements to put them on top of, where you couldn't just have them all. You had, like, for the concrete donkey, you had to build a big tower to have the concrete donkey launcher on top of before you could use it, so it made it a bit more strategic.
That was on PS2, wasn't it? That was that era.
I think. Yeah, it was Xbox 360, PS2, that sort of PS. Yeah. No, I think that
Xbox the first, wasn't it?
I think that I'm gonna look this up now.
I'm pretty sure it was PS2. I remember because Worms 3D was the one before that, and that was PS2 definitely. So
yeah, Worms 4. Are you talking
Worms
about? I think
Forts. Yeah, I'm sorry. It was original Xbox and PlayStation 2. I can see
Xbox the first.
Historical knowledge.
Fucking Rain Man with my gamer knowledge, as the nerd list proves.
I'm not going to touch that, but there's so many jokes, so little time. Yeah,
Wow.
so I really liked the 3D ones, whereas a lot of people were like, this is dumb, send it back to the old style. So it was like, okay.
It kept to the spirit of Worms, but it was something a bit different. There's nothing wrong with that.
I think people just didn't like it because it was more strategic than the old Worms, because you couldn't see the entire map at all times. So you had to find your enemies and destroy cover to get to them and things. It made it more like, I don't know if you remember, there was a old PS1 game called Hogs of War.
Yes,
was the same thing but with pigs in 3D.
And that was sort of like World War One, kind of.
Yeah, pigs in army uniforms firing bazookas and grenades at each other, and that was little known. I don't think hardly anyone knows about that game, but I'm sounding so much like a goddamn hipster. Yeah, I loved the 3D
too cool. You probably
ones.
haven't heard of it.
And then when they stopped doing it, I was like, oh, it's something I'd like to see them try again. But the Worms games they churn out on Steam are so popular, they won't bother trying to go back to 3D.
They do like weird ones now. There's like, you can get Worms Golf and stuff, can't you? They do like these weird offshoot ones now, as well as like the mainline sort of ones.
Yeah,
I think Worms 2 is always going to be the best one.
Worms Armageddon was flipping amazing as well.
Yeah, that's one of the old school 2D style ones, wasn't it?
Yeah, but the Worms games, I think, is one of those series that just will never die, because it's got such a hardcore fan base that will buy every iteration of it.
Yeah, a lot of them are very iterative, I think. Like it's just a couple of different weapons. You know, that's kind of all there is, like, between versions.
New speeds for the random maps. That's about
I
it.
usually buy a version per console I have. Like, I've got one on Xbox One, I had one on, like, 360, and so on. Like, I get one, per thing, but there's no need to buy it over and over and over and over again, really.
I like how we've directed what Ellen was playing away onto. We haven't played that, so let's talk about
Yeah.
That game's one of those stupid, like, early access nerdy games that you play about vampires or something.
Oh, come on.
Or pigeons that have been having sex. Those kind of things.
So have you been playing anything else, Ellen?
Playing anything else at the moment? Basically those two games and lots of Ratchet and Clank, and you've discussed that. That's basically what I've been playing.
So you haven't played Hatterful Boyfriend yet?
I have not played Hatterful Boyfriend yet. I know you're very disappointed.
I am.
That's one of Liam's favourite games of all time, isn't it?
I did play the first one, to be fair.
There's a sequel?
There's two there's two other ones, actually.
Oh, God.
There's one with tanks. So
yes,
that's
I
a thing.
did hear about the tank one. That seemed even weirder.
Can't get too weird.
I have seen some of the footage from the tank one.
Have you? Is it good?
Yes, and it is. Yes, it's kind of unclear as to actually that they're tanks until you go to the school where they're at, and then all their names are tanks.
So tanks go to school?
Apparently, yes, and you go along as I think you play as a male in the game. You go along, obviously, and then you go along to romance the tanks. It's very strange.
It's kind of like isn't there a Japanese fighting game where they're all female characters, but they're all also battleships?
What?
Like, I'm sure that's a thing.
I mean,
Probably.
Japanese, probably.
Yeah, I'm sure I didn't dream that.
No, I don't think you did.
But yeah, I've seen a lot of gameplay of Hatterful Boyfriend just because of the people playing it make me laugh, but that is not I mean, I own Honey Pop, for God's sake, so I'm not averse to bloody Japanese weirdness, but that's not something that interests me. I don't want to chat up a pigeon, thank you.
Why not? You just need to open your mind to try new things. This is your problem. You're too close-minded.
Is that going to become the latest like political correctness? If people want to love pigeons, they should be able to.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So did you say you've been playing Hearthstone?
I did. I played some of the new Tavern Brawl. I did play that.
What was it this week?
And
I can't actually remember off the top of my head.
This week you won a card pack, obviously, and it seemed like the last hurrah of those goblins and gnomes cards. There was a lot of those that were kind of randomized. So the randomized decks you choose.
Oh, was it the Raven? That was the Idol deck one.
The Raven Idol.
Yeah.
So that was, and so it was a lot of kind of randomized decks. So you chose a hero, went in, your deck was randomized. It was fun because it seemed like the last hurrah of a lot of those goblin and gnomes characters. Those cards that won't be returning because they're leaving the shop.
Well, they'll still be there in Wild or whatever they're called, but like you have to craft them now. You have to craft them. That's clever. That's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Calling it Wild is stupid. It should be called Standard, and then whatever isn't the new thing should be called something else. But yeah, so I think we'll talk about that like a fair bit next week, because obviously the new expansions this week in A Whisper of the Old Gods. So like all the new cards and things are coming out, the Cthulhu decks and stuff.
Interesting, yeah, and rather than what I normally do, which is look at all the new cards when they get announced and stuff, I actually have stayed away from it. So when I open my pre-ordered 50 packs, I will have no idea what's coming at me.
No, I've seen most of them. Like, there's a few very specific type of decks they want you to make, but it'll be interesting to see what combos you can make out of taking a few of those cards and chucking them into like these new kind of decks. Like, sort of slightly changing pre-existing things, like maybe taking a random dragon and chucking it into Dragon Priest or something. That's kind of what'll be interesting.
It seems like from the only thing I've seen of it is the trailer that I was telling you about, which if anybody likes Hearthstone and hasn't seen that new trailer, go and watch it. It's bloody brilliant. It seems like it gives an air of changing normal things into something other than they were. I wouldn't be surprised if that's kind of a theme through the
It is very much
thing.
so.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to it, because if you can do some weird transformation shit and like have some pathetic creature out on the board and then turn it into an all-devouring beast to screw people over. That's
sort of what they're going with. They've got, I won't, without too many spoilers in terms of what actual cards are out there, are already existing cards, but twisted versions.
Yeah, so corrupted by the old gods.
Yeah. There's a lot of that.
Cool, that sounds good to me.
Yes. So, have you pre-ordered it, Ellen? Have you pre-ordered the expansion?
The packs?
Yeah.
No, I have not pre-ordered the expansion. No, I thought it was No, I have not pre-ordered it. No.
Yeah. Are you gonna be getting any packs?
Yes, I will buy some packs. I will. I mean, I can't stop myself. It becomes an addiction. You have to.
It is a bit. I've been good. I spent the last month saving up all my gold, doing all my quests. I've got over 1,000 gold now, so I can just go on a binge and get a ton of packs.
The only reason I pre-ordered them is because I don't play Hearthstone often enough to get the gold to pay for it that way. So it's just like, I want to see what the new cards are like, so I might as well pay for it.
God, you're so pay to win. It's ridiculous.
Well, yeah, but my pack luck when pre-ordering, I have pulled some lovely legendaries before. So
yeah, you got like the Nerubian, didn't you? One.
Anubarak.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I got Anubarak, and I think Malorn was out of a paid for pack as well. So. If I basically out of those 50 packs, if I get one legendary for a class that I actually use, it would be nice.
Yes.
I will be happy.
So I think we've delayed it long enough. I think it's time.
Delayed.
I think it's time. I think it's time for the nerd list. So, for those of you who are watching this live on Twitch or watching on YouTube, you're in for a treat. So, look at your screens.
Ooh.
And a thing just happened.
A thing!
It did. So, take it away.
Right. For those of you who are not initiated to the wonder that is the nerd list, Ellen, well, I would say your challenge if you choose to accept it, but tough. You have 2 minutes to answer general knowledge questions on various video games and video game things. And then your score will be placed into the illustrious nerd list to see how you rank against other streamers and ourselves, which won't take a lot to beat us, because, we kind of sucked when we did it.
As you can all see who are watching it live, Neko is dead last with 1 point. So as long as you get one right, you're good. You just need to get one right.
Neko's down there holding the rest of us up.
Pretty much, yes.
Making the rest of us look good.
He's done a public service there.
Yeah, we will have. You'll have 2 minutes. The timer will start when I finish asking the first question, and if we are midway through a question when the timer ends, you will then have time to think about that and answer. Are you ready, Ellen?
I am ready. I'm ready.
I thought she'd run away.
Yeah.
No, I'm ready. I'm here. I'm ready.
Okay. Is the timer ready, sir?
Yes.
Question the first. In Kingdom Hearts, which Disney villain acts as the leader?
Oh my.
If you don't know, you can pass.
Oh goodness. Oh, I want to say it's Jafar.
Incorrect. Which sport heavily features in the JRPG Inazuma 11?
I've never played that, and I do not know.
No problem. What is the name of the fighting game for the PS1 that was banned in 1998 for its fetish moves?
Street Fighter?
No.
Which
FPS game, first-person shooter game, would you hear the line, "Stairs? No!"
Oh, I know this one. Which Borderlands 2? No?
Yep, correct.
Oh my god, I got that one.
In Far Cry 3, who says the line, "Did I ever tell you the definition of insanity"?
Vaas.
Correct.
I know that one.
In the Half-Life games, who is described as the sinister interdimensional bureaucrat?
I cannot remember the name.
In Metal Gear Solid, which well-known Nintendo villain does Snake describe as a cheap movie monster?
I do not know. I can't remember. Oh my god.
In Final Fantasy, which recurring enemy self-destructs when hit by the player?
Moogles?
No. In the intro to Pokemon Red, Gengar and Nidorino are fighting. Which Pokemon is fighting Gengar in the intro to Pokemon Blue?
Last question. So take your time.
Would you like me to repeat it?
Yes.
In the intro to Pokemon Red, Gengar and Nidorino are fighting. Which Pokemon is fighting Gengar in the intro to Pokemon Blue?
Oh my god. Oh, it's a... Oh, I know this one. I know this one because I just had it. Oh, what's his name? Oh goodness.
There's only about 500 to pick from, so.
Only about 500 to pick from. Is it Jigglypuff?
Correct.
As if.
Oh my god.
As if.
That was impressive.
Yes.
No, because I was thinking because it's a little thing and it's going back and forth, and I couldn't think if it was what's the Diglett or if it was her, because I called Jigglypuff a her.
So would you like to know your final score?
It's probably 1. What?
Your final score is 3 points.
And this was the day that we stopped being friends.
You beat both of us, technically, because you go above me.
Yes, this is true. See,
Well,
as
I could just, when you said Pokemon Blue, I could just see the opening screen in my mind, and I could see the little one flipping in front of me. I was like, it has to be Diglett or something else, but I don't know.
Right, should we go through the ones you didn't get, see if Liam knows it?
Sure.
Yeah, I think I know a couple, but there's a lot there I don't think I did.
In
Go ahead.
Kingdom Hearts, which Disney villain acts as the leader?
I can't remember.
That's
I'm not the original.
Maleficent.
Yeah.
Which sport heavily features in the JRPG Inazuma 11?
Well, based on 11, is it football?
Yeah.
Or soccer for you Yanks?
Yeah, soccer. What was the name of the fighting game for the PS1 that was banned in 1998 for its fetish moves?
Would it have been Mortal Kombat, maybe?
It was called Thrill Kill.
Oh, I thought it might have been like Mortal Kombat 3 or something.
You got the Borderlands 2 quote. You got the Vaz saying, did I ever tell you the definition of insanity? In the Half-Life games, who's the sinister interdimensional bureaucrat?
Don't know, I don't like Half-Life.
Is G-Man.
Okay.
In Metal Gear Solid, which well-known Nintendo villain does Snake describe as a cheap movie monster?
I would take a punt at Bowser.
Correct. In Final Fantasy, what reoccurring enemy self-destructs when hit by the player?
In what series, sorry?
In Final Fantasy.
It's the Firebomb. I can't remember the proper name of it.
It's just called Bomb.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's all of them.
And I knew the last one as well.
Yeah, I know you did, because I said it to you before the show.
I know.
I'm not letting you get away with that.
Never mind. But well done. So you have beaten Martin. That means you are now in 4th place. And Martin's been relegated to 5th. And that means Neko is no longer even in the top 10. He's now 11th.
As it should be.
Oh, Neko.
Yes. Okay. So that was the nerd list. We have, for those of you watching live or watching the VOD on YouTube, we've got a swanky new thing, and I'll update it each week, hopefully, with the standings of who's where, just so you don't have to keep looking off on a Google Doc, which is a bit stupid. And we have got Neko in our chat saying that he will beat everybody again, but I mean, he had his opportunity and was destroyed. The thing, people say they're going to do well in that, but the nerves get to people when you put on the spot with 2 minutes. It's not as easy as it seems.
I'm sure we'll have him on again, and I'm sure he will get a different score. 0 is always a possibility.
This is true. 0 is a score too.
And for those asking in chat, if 2 people have the same points, if it's me or Lim that they've got the same points with, the guest always goes above us.
Yes, this is true. We need to start having like 0.5 so we can split people out a bit better. But other than being above us, it's random basically.
No, what we do is the other people that have the same number, we're going to have them fight to the death.
Yes, this is true. We should have like a Smash Brothers tournament for people on the same score. But the way I'm seeing it for 1st place is unless you beat Nina Lee's score of 4, then you're not above her.
Yeah,
so if you get 4, then you're not above Neen until you get 5, sort of thing. So that's the way I'm doing it in terms of being first. If people get 4, they're not ahead. They have to get 5, which is turning out to be harder than you would think.
Yeah, considering when we started this, you actually turned around to me and said, "Oh, make sure you have about 50 odd questions because people will get loads." and then you got 2.
Well, you wait for episode 50. You wait for episode 50. I'm gonna get at least 20, and I'm gonna make all you idiots put you all to shame.
As I've said, Lim, 0 is still an option.
Yeah, for you, because I'm going to make your questions really fucking hard. I hope you have an intimate knowledge of the Commodore 64 back library, because that's where most of your questions are going to be based. So name the 4 members of the development team for this specific game, for like the Atari 2600 or something like that.
You tried to screw me like that the first time round, and I still beat you, so...
Shut your face. I made your questions harder out of spite, to be honest, because of how hard your fucking questions were for me.
I asked you what was the enemy's name in Halo, for God's sake. That was
yes,
not
obviously
difficult.
That was one of the 2 points that I got. That's besides the point. Shall we move on?
Yeah.
I think we should probably move on to the news.
News!
Right. What order have we got? Okay. First one's PlayStation. We'll crack that out first.
Yeah.
So basically, there's been tons of rumours about the PlayStation 4K that's been going around for a couple of weeks now, and it's now a thing. It's official. It's now a thing. It's called the code name, I should say, is Neo. I don't really know why, but it's...
Are they trying to say that it's the one in the Matrix?
Yeah, the PlayStation 1. Yes, that should be the name for it.
It can get inside you and explode you from the inside.
Wow.
Well,
That's unconfirmed, but I'm pretty sure it's fact.
So you're saying they're going to plant a little like jizz bomb thing inside it that sort of splooshes on anyone who buys it? Is that what you're saying?
Now we're just getting into your fantasies.
Well, I mean, I do love PlayStation.
And you do love jizz bombs. So...
This is true. Combining my favourite things. Yes. So yeah, PlayStation. Let's talk about PlayStation, shall we? So yeah, they've announced some specs for it, and to be honest, it's not that much more powerful than the base model, really, considering there is looking like they're going to charge about $100 more in comparison to the old one. It's not that much more powerful. So I don't know. I mean, I kind of don't see the point, to be honest. They've said no exclusive games. All of the games will work together cross-platform online. So, if you've got a Neo and you've got Call of Duty, your mate who's only got the basic one, you'll still be able to play. But one of the things I was thinking of with that is if the PlayStation Neo can run comfortably at 60 frames a second and your standard one is locked at 30, isn't that going to create issues for FPSs? Online, because people with 60 FPS will have an advantage.
And certain like even fighting games as well, you'll have a bit of an advantage with the high level people who have like this know it by when you've got invulnerability frames and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And then the solution to that would be you make sure it runs exactly the same on both. So there's parity. So then what's the fucking point?
From what I've heard, what they're really saying is basically all the games, once the codename Neo comes out, are going to have an option to play on the normal, or you just tell it at the start which system you're running it on, or it detects it or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And it's basically just going to look a bit prettier.
Yeah, and then you're going to start getting into the thing where at E3 you're going to have the Watch Dogs thing where it's saying this is running on PlayStation 4, but they're actually showing you the Neo version, and then when people get home with it on the the old version, they can say, well, this looks like a pile of wank compared to what I just watched.
But to be fair, why would they bother doing that when they run most E3 trailers through a PC anyway?
No, but like Sony press conferences and stuff where they say this is PlayStation 4 footage and stuff. That is going to happen.
Will they disclose whether it's on a Neo or not?
They fucking won't.
Yeah.
Don't be silly.
You don't know. They might try especially when they're trying to flog these things, they might like this E3. They might do side-by-side comparison trailers to show how it would run on both.
The thing is, I don't deny that it's more than likely going to make your games look pretty and stuff, but I just don't see the point. I feel like the only good thing that's coming out with this Neo is that the chances are, because of how much they're going to charge for it, like you know, speculatively how much they're going to charge for it, that should mean that the standard model will get a price decrease. So I mean, if the Neo is somewhat redundant, at least people who want a PlayStation can get one a bit cheaper.
It's basically like what Nintendo did with the new 3DS, isn't it? It's like a sort of upgrade.
Well, the difference with that is they had exclusive games on that. The Xenoblade Chronicles. But there's a couple, weren't there?
It's not a huge jump in the console, and it's just nice that they seem to have learned from Nintendo's cock up, and they're not making
anything exclusive. But like, because it's looking like they're going to release it basically side by side with VR, but it's not making any sense in that, like, there's no benefit for VR because Sony have already said there's limits to. Like, there's guidelines for the games for VR anyway, that all of the games on the standard PlayStation have got to run at 60 FPS anyway. Like, so they can't run badly. So
it would literally just be a bit prettier. It's basically to give people an option of those people left who have ummed and ahed about, should I pick up the new console generation or whatever. And it's also to target those people that have the disposable income and absolutely have to have the latest tech. So those people will pick it up. It's kind of a niche product to be realistic.
As long as apart from like the FPS thing that we've, like I said about like them getting advantage, as long as they don't have exclusives, there's really no point in it existing.
There's no point in it existing to someone who already has a PS4. No. But there is a point in it existing of, and it also kind of steps up the whole thing of there's already a disparity between the hardware of the PS4 and the Xbox One. So now there's going to be even more of a gap. So it's kind of putting themselves out that little extra more.
I read something quite interesting as a theory that, like, there's the talk of, like, well, this one's confirmed and there's the theory of the Xbox doing it. Like, I wonder if they're doing it because there's talk of the NX having parity with Xbox One, that they're both going to release an iteration which is more powerful, so they're still ahead of Nintendo.
Yeah. It wouldn't surprise me.
It's like...
Sorry, you were going to say something, Ellen?
No, I was going to say that seems like the reason behind it, especially because with the NX is supposed to be able to compete with the Xbox One and the PS4. It seems like this is their kind of response to it, most definitely, I think.
Well, if it's as powerful as an Xbox One, it's already fucked because the Xbox One's already not as powerful as the PS4 in the first place. It needs to be more powerful than the PS4, doesn't it?
As we mentioned when we talked about the NX, Nintendo is already playing catch up.
Yeah, so they have been for years, even with going back to like the GameCube and that. The only time they were ahead was Super Nintendo. Then after that, they've always been behind. The N64 wasn't as powerful as the PS1. GameCube was less powerful than the PS2.
If the N64 had got its disk drive shit sorted out, it would have been more powerful, but it didn't leave Japan, so...
Yeah, and then the Wii was obviously less powerful than a potato, so I mean, I think that's probably less powerful than a N64. I think they went backwards with that console. Like, if you go back and play some of them old games, like, fuck me, they are horrendously hideous. They don't know
because all the development resources were put on getting it to work with the motion controls rather than what the actual game looked like or played like.
I think the only pretty game really on the Wii was Xenoblade Chronicles, in all honesty. Even the Zelda games weren't that pretty, in my opinion. Like Skyward Sword, I didn't think it looked that great.
was quite pretty. It wasn't
a step up from Twilight Princess, though, I don't think.
But it was a completely different aesthetic, wasn't it, really?
True, but I mean, just objectively it wasn't.
Yeah.
By detail and stuff, I don't think it was any better. Yeah, we're getting sidetracked a bit, I think.
As usual.
Yes. But yeah, it's confirmed to be a thing. There's going to be at E3. That's when they'll say, full price. And that's when I think their marketing department has, their work cut out for them to try and explain to us why the hell we should buy one of these things that are going to be incredibly expensive.
I can see. I'll be honest. Regarding the NX, I can see Nintendo having the same problem with that as they had with the Wii U, and I can see Nintendo possibly even going the way of Sega, of just making games and not bothering with consoles.
I'd honestly be fine with that.
Yeah, outside of, they've got the handheld market locked down. They'd stay in that, but I can see home consoles.
Say that, their numbers have been struggling since tablets became a thing. 3DS did well, but they're not as dominant in the market.
The Sony's one is still outsells.
I know. That's only because Sony decided to not give a shit about the console. Like, the Vita is better than 3DS, like, in every fucking way. It's just they decided to not support it.
Yeah.
Like, all the games that were on it have been, well, I say all, but a huge portion of games on the Vita are fantastic. They just didn't support it. Sadly, it's really sad. I love my Vita, but it makes me sad. I can get trophies while I'm having a poo. What more could you want out of life?
See, I used to have a PSP, and I never picked up a Vita. I've never owned a Vita.
Like I'm saying, you need to get a Vita TV for Persona 4, but one day.
Persona 4 Golden is the only thing that makes me want a Vita.
Thing is, that'd be the thing that tipped you over the edge to get it, but once you got it, there's so many good games for it, though. Like, being able to play all your PS1 classics and all that sort of stuff. So good.
I've just never been convinced.
Right, shall we move on? Go on.
I was just going to ask Ellen if she plays handheld very much.
I do have it handheld. I have a 2DS that I got specifically for Pokemon Blue.
Got the pretty one.
I got the 2DS specifically to replay Pokemon Y just before the new ones come out.
Yeah.
I think it's worth it if you want it. This is me more justifying why I got mine.
Yeah,
the pretty one in it, like the special edition one.
Yeah, it's a special edition blue because I grew up with I had a Game Boy Color when I was very young, and Pokemon Blue was the game I played.
Yeah,
the correct version, yes.
I remember being on the bus with you, Lim, with the Game Boys out playing Pokemon with the flipping not strategy guide, but the big Pokedex book with all the...
Yes.
We've always been nerds.
Yeah. There's no point denying what we are.
No.
I even had, I don't know if you remember it, I had a Pokeball that was like a game. You flipped up and it had like one of the... Can you remember like the Tiger games, which were like the really, really shit mini handheld things?
Yeah.
Well, it was like that, and like a Pokemon would appear on this really shitty little LCD screen, and then a dot would bounce around. These LED dots would bounce around the bottom half of the Pokeball, and you had to tilt it to get the dot into the middle. And if you could hold it in the middle for 3 seconds, you caught the Pokemon, and it was very exciting.
Yeah.
I even had that when I was like, I must have been like 6 or something.
I will say, I think one of the best Pokemon games I ever had on the Game Boy Color was the Game Boy Color version of Pokemon Trading Card Game.
Yes, that was really... That was underrated, that was really good. Really good. Can you imagine a card game where you don't have to buy cards once you've bought the game?
That was meta levels of nerdiness. You're playing a Pokemon card game on a video game system,
because we had the cards, obviously, but then when we went home we needed more of the card game.
we had no one to play with in our sad, lonely little villages.
Ellen, did you have the cards when you were a kid?
The Pokemon cards?
Yes.
Yes, I did. And I was extra nerdy. I also had the little figurines as well.
You did?
Oh, nice.
What was your best card? Did you have the shiny Charizard?
I did not have a shiny Charizard. I had a shiny Staryu, and I had a shiny Bulbasaur, and I also had, my favourite one was the Eevee. It wasn't shiny though, so that was sad.
My best was shiny Growlithe. That was my best.
See, I was always quite proud of the fact that I went and saw the first Pokemon movie when it came out, and you got a shiny Mewtwo, and I was happy with that.
What a dick!
And that's probably worth shitloads now, and I've got no idea where it is.
my greatest card, I guess, like my favourite was my Growlithe, but I won't say his last name, but do you remember a kid at our school called Jack, and his last name began with A?
Yeah.
It was his first day of getting cards, and I may have convinced him to trade a shiny card for a health potion.
Oh dear God!
Like, it's something that, like, to my shame, I still remember. Like, I feel bad. It was a Charizard. It was. I had the shiny. I did have the shiny.
You are a bad man.
That's why it still haunts me.
There's special levels of hell for people like you.
I was like 10. Come on. I get a pass for that reason, I believe.
You evil bastard.
That wasn't good. It wasn't good. It wasn't my finest moment, to be honest. I still remember. I remember as well, like, when Woolworths was a thing, there was a Pokemon magazine that had a pack of Pokemon cards, and I had no filter. I literally just tried to walk out the shop with it, and my mum just had to quickly throw money at the people, like. So I didn't get away with it.
I promise.
Just take the money because he wants it, and he'll literally, throw the biggest tantrum ever. He doesn't get the Pokemon cards.
You haven't changed much, have you?
Well, I have money now, so I don't have to, like, have these problems.
You still throw tantrums. I've seen your streams.
Fair point. But that's where the game is a dickhole. That's justified. There's difference. So yeah, PlayStation Neo. That's the thing. What are we on about? What's going on? Welcome to the most professional podcast on the internet. What a shit show.
We never get sidetracked.
No, shall we move on? I think we should move on. We've actually got quite a lot of news to get through. Dark Souls, there's a board game. So, that's a thing.
That's a thing?
Yes. Do you want to talk about that? Because it's your favourite.
Well, I was going to ask, because I've like the pictures of the miniatures. Is it an actual board game, or is it like an RPG? Oh.
Board game. And guess what? It's really cheap. It's only $110 for a copy.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
It's like... Yeah, have you seen the Game of Thrones board game? Like the proper massive, expansive board game? Like...
No.
Like, that's like 60 quid. It's like that's not like a little 10-minute job. It's like a proper massive... You'd have to probably take even more than one evening to play it. Like, you build a character, you spec out your character and everything, and it's like
I would guess it's designed to play through multiple times, because if it's anything like real Dark Souls, you die within the first 5 minutes.
Probably. There's locations from the games, there's bosses from the games. There's a thing where all of your loot and stuff, when you die, it gets left where you died. So you
have to go and pick it up.
You have to get back to where you were to pick it up, and if you don't, you've lost it. So
see, I would quite like. I don't know how it would work, but when I first saw this, I was imagining like a D&D type thing, but in the Dark Souls universe.
I think it is to an extent.
Right. So it's more like a tabletop game than a board game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's less Monopoly, more D&D. Right.
Yeah.
Ignoring
the price, would you be more interested in it?
That makes a little more sense for the price, because I would imagine that you get a lot in it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You look at like the pictures of it and there is a shit ton of stuff. Yeah, it like the figures and all of that all look really cool. It's looking really, really good. And I mean, the original goal was 70,000 they were after, and they hit that in 3 minutes. And they're currently at 1.4 million. So it shows the like how rabid the fan base is for Dark Souls. Anything Dark Souls related, they just eat that shit up. Like,
looking at the picture you have in Discord, I just can't stop staring at the fat man's testicle chin and fat nipples. That's all I seem to be able to see is a large testicle-shaped chin.
I'm just having a look at the picture now in Discord.
And big fat nipples.
Yeah. I mean, I don't actually recognise him. Is he from Bloodborne, maybe? I don't actually recognise it.
You know you shouldn't be asking me about this.
No, I'm just wondering out loud. I mean, like, with tits like that, you'd think you'd remember him, right?
Well, you certainly would.
True. Anyway, what were we talking about? Boobs? Something.
The board game, the Kickstarter goal.
Yeah.
Smashed. Which is really interesting, because a lot more games... Well, I guess it's a board game. But a lot more gaming content, I guess you'd say, with having kind of like offshoots and board games, seem to be doing a lot well on Kickstarter. So
yeah, well, there was
that kind of thing.
There's Exploding Kittens is probably the highest profile case of a card game, board game type thing doing well on Kickstarter, because that made shit tons of money. Didn't Exploding Kittens?
Was that the thing we played on Tabletop Simulator?
Yeah, we did. Yes.
Yeah, that was an awesome card game. To be honest,
it is cool, and it's only like 10 quid as well. Fantastic artwork and stuff. It's good, like, you know, as long as they deliver on what they're promising for people and they actually give them what they say they're going to give them, then that's great.
I still think the best card game we've ever played, and we need to organise a few people for a stream of it again, is Cards Against Humanity.
Yes. Yes. Because we are terrible people.
Yeah. And it fits us so well.
It really does. Yes. Shall we move? Oh, I just remembered what the next one is.
Oh, God. Oh, yeah.
Pleasant topic.
Oh, yeah, happy.
All you, mate.
Right. Well, a Smite streamer. I'm just trying to see if it's got his name. DM Brandon has nearly 80,000 followers. He
on Twitch.
On Twitch,
he's a streamer.
He's announced his departure from the developers casting team after he criticised a live stream donor who had attempted suicide. So he basically called the guy an arsehole for attempting suicide and said he was selfish, which, I mean, it's a touchy subject. There's like, I'm even being careful about how I speak, because it's a touchy subject. It's not like a nice thing, but I mean, to tell them they're an asshole and go fuck yourself and everything, it's like, oh,
how dare you have depression?
Yeah.
The thing is, like, there's kind of, the thing is, you would say, oh, why would you go and say something like that? Why would you say I tried to kill myself, like, on someone's stream or whatever? But what he actually said was, I was at my lowest point, I found your streams and you made me happy. Yeah, so he was complimenting him. Yeah, and that's why that was the basis of his donation. He was saying I was at my lowest point, and you know, you turned it around for me. And like, why would you not hear something like that and be insanely grateful that you helped somebody? Why would that not be your reaction? Why was it like, oh, why are you telling me that? Go fuck yourself. Like, why would that be your reaction?
And he described it as he said, why do I want to fucking hear that? I don't want to fucking hear you're going to kill yourself. You're putting a burden on me. And it's like, no, the guy's sharing himself and saying thank you for helping him with it. He's not he seems to have reacted to it as if the guy was only saying about his suicide to get attention and it was all bullshit, which some people do, but that doesn't seem the case here, and he's reacted to it badly. And like, maybe if it was a personal communication, then that's up to him to say it, but you don't say it live on a Twitch stream.
No, you do not.
No.
It was disgusting. Like, if you help someone in that kind of way, I don't understand why you would be like that. You should be so grateful.
And as someone, I'm just looking further down in the article, as someone commented, the whole point is, like, if someone is suffering from depression, they're struggling with their self-worth, and to do something like that and then be berated and told you're an arsehole and go fuck yourself, that's not exactly going to help with their depression, even if that's what you think. You shouldn't say
it. Just have to hope they didn't do anything silly like after this rant. But I think, like, the outpouring of, like, everybody, you know, like a community in general, like on the internet, are all saying, like, he's a twat and stuff. Hopefully this person saw that.
He did kind of say that afterwards that his comments were a mistake and everything, but he never apologised.
No,
he never said sorry.
Yeah.
All he said is he shouldn't have said it. He didn't say that he didn't mean it.
He says, I understand that I fucked up, but he doesn't actually say I'm sorry for saying it. So
typical sort of, not getting into it, but like typical politician's response to when they found out that they've just knobbed like 30 hookers in a hotel whilst on crack.
I like the way you put it, when they just found out, as if they didn't realise they were doing it.
Yes.
Oh damn, I've just shagged 30 hookers. I hate it when that happens.
Yeah. What a surprise that I found myself in such a situation.
I'm sorry, officer. My trousers unfortunately fell down and I tripped and fell inside the woman.
Yes. After I had given her quite a lot of money.
I think hopefully, at least from the whole incident, that people start, I mean, maybe it's a conversation starter when it comes to, depression within, like, the Twitch community and things like that. Maybe it would just start a conversation, something good or something bad, maybe.
Because you do hear a lot of comments like that with the big streamers and big YouTubers. They get a lot of comments saying, thank you, I've been in a really bad place and your videos made me laugh and helped me out. And I personally, like, if I was to ever have the ability to properly stream myself and everything, and I got a comment like that, I would feel incredibly humbled and incredibly thankful that anything that I was putting out there was helping people would feel amazing.
Exactly, knowing that you're brightening someone's day. Isn't that the point of doing? That's the point of doing what I do, is to make people happy.
Yeah, we're on here to entertain people, and like, that's it. And for someone to come back to you and say, look, you've done such a good job that you've helped me with something serious is a lovely thing.
Yeah, I don't know. I just hope that he never comes back to any kind of, like, streaming or content creation in any capacity, because he doesn't deserve any success.
Well, shall we move from one knobhead's comments onto another knobhead's comments?
Yeah, actually, the next two stories are also bad ones. So, I mean, we've done the good thing with Dark Souls saying a happy thing has happened. Now it's on to just more shit. So, what's the next one?
The next
go on.
Yes. Comes from a man known as Alex St. John, who I believe was one of the co-founders of DirectX, if I remember rightly.
Yes, and
he's been in. he was senior figure at Microsoft. He was instrumental in DirectX. So yeah, he's been in like the industry in some form for a while, and he come out with an opinion on crunch, which for anybody who doesn't know what that is, it's the small period of time before a game's release.
That's before a game goes to cert.
Before it goes to cert, before it's finalised.
Yeah.
Where basically some game companies, not all, but have their developers working ungodly hours, people falling asleep at their desk just to get the thing finished. And it's not a good state. It's nobody who's ever, as from what I've heard, who's ever been through crunch has ever said it's a good thing.
So I talked to Albert, previous guest of this show and stuff, and he's been through crunch. He's actually, funnily enough, going through it right now for the Lego game he's working on currently. And he said the amount of overtime they're expected to do is ridiculous. Like most jobs, like overtime is a thing that if you're a bit skint and you want a bit of extra money, it's a thing that's there.
It's optional.
Yeah, but like you can lose your job if you don't. Don't do crunch for game design, because like they've publishers are giving these studios saying this game is coming out on the 10th of May, therefore it needs to be in middle of April or whatever. It has to be ready by then. You're gonna fucking work until it's done. There's most studios aren't given the leeway of saying no, we need an extra couple of weeks to finish up. That's why, like with Mirror's Edge getting delayed a week of that, I'm completely fine with that, 'cause that's meaning these guys are, there's less stress on them,
So this, to borrow your favourite phrase, this absolute fanny flaps opinion on crunch.
Yeah, I think that's too nice of a word for him, to be honest.
It's basically that anyone complaining about the conditions of crunch needs to get over it. That they've embraced a culture of victimology and basically anyone who complains about conditions as a game developer isn't a real game developer, because it's not a job, it's an art. So you should the passion of creating something should be enough to sustain you no matter what, and you don't need an outside life or a personal life or anything. You should just live for creating it, so get on with it.
Who needs sleep?
Basically what he said, yeah. Like,
and I think it.
Neko just said something in chat. I went to YouTube comments on that video. Don't do that. I can imagine just how I'm getting berated quite heavily, to be honest.
Sorry, you were going to say something, Ellen.
I think it's really interesting about the article is this idea of like, because he says you should enjoy doing this because you're working on something that's fun, right? Like this is leisure in a way that he's talking about. Like kind of defining this work as not being quite work.
Yeah,
because it's video games, right?
If you're making a leisure product, you're making games, so it's not a real job. Get over it. And it's like, I mean, I went to university for computer games design. I've been in a development cycle of computer games, and yeah, you love the thing you're working on because it's your idea and you're seeing it come to life, but it is the most mind-numbing shit to try and get these things to work, even at the basic level in Flash. I had a person in my class who had worked for months on a game, absolutely months, and it broke, and he couldn't work out why. And literally, our tutor sat down with him and went through, I think, about 1,500 lines of code. And the only thing that was wrong in it was there was a slash out of place.
Yeah, and do you know what? If you work for 14 hours straight staring at a screen, do you think you're going to be able to spot that?
No, you can't. And the other thing is, by the end of it, even though you love what you've made, the last thing you want to do is play it, because you don't. it's like any job. Like people who work in McDonald's or any fast food restaurant, the last thing they want to eat when they get home is fast food from the place they work at, because they're around it 24/7. And
unless you work in KFC, because KFC is best.
That's
the exception to the rule.
Even KFC, I think if you worked there, you'd get sick of it. Like, I would imagine, because I did at McDonald's. I worked at McDonald's, and the last thing I wanted to eat, like takeaway wise, was McDonald's while I worked there. But it's to say that game development isn't a real job, especially coming from someone who's always been a higher up in the positions they worked in. So he's the twat that sits on his arse and makes money off of other people's hard work. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, but the picture on this article, I know this doesn't help for the VOD, I keep mentioning pictures, but he is the most smug-looking arsehole with this cigar in his hand. He could shove that cigar where the sun don't shine, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah,
absolute dickhead.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Like you say, it's like you're making a leisure product. That's it. You're making it. You put in the hard work, and then the people who consume it are the ones who get the entertainment value from it. Yeah. It's the same with streaming. I put in hours and hours of work in for a product that other people consume as leisure. Yeah. It's not,
and you don't go back and watch your own stuff for leisure. You go back and watch your own stuff for work to see how it's
for critiquing and stuff. Yeah, exactly. It's not saying that you don't love your job, because you're making games because you love games, and you may love what you're doing, but at the end of the day, stress is real. Like, you can only spend so many hours staring at a computer screen. You have families, you need sleep, you need food, you need rest. Like, everyone will tell you that burnout is a real thing, and you need time away from doing whatever it is you're doing, even if it is one day, because after a certain amount of time you hit a wall, and then the product that you happen to be making, whatever it is, suffers. It suffers eventually.
I think the best thing I heard about this was someone said that his opinion makes it seem like Maslow's hierarchy of needs isn't a thing, which I don't know if everybody know what that is basically a pyramid of, as human beings, what we need to be happy. And like most people, like a lot of people say, oh yeah, money and everything makes you happy. It's actually one of our basest things. Being a well-rounded person, being respected, not being stressed is way more important. But this guy just says, nah, get over it, keep working until you pass out, and because it makes me money, basically.
Yeah, him on the higher wage, you're well away.
Yeah.
For sitting on his arse.
Yeah, it just plays back into this really terrible kind of idea that you should not ever be rewarded for enjoying things. Like, a very kind of like basic ideology is that, like, companies don't like you having leisure time because you're not working, right? Yeah. And so, like, it reinforces this really kind of strange view that, like, all leisure is not work. And that's what he's kind of saying, is like, just because this is seen as a leisure thing, we can't treat you like normal people. Like, this isn't a normal job, so therefore you have to work these ridiculous hours and do these ridiculous things.
Because you're enjoying what you're doing, you should put up with extra bullshit that other people don't have to deal with.
Which is ridiculous and terrible.
I think just I don't know if you guys agree with me, but in jobs in general, I think on a yearly or semi-yearly basis, the higher ups of every company, any company, should be made to go down and work at the lowest level in their own company to remind them what it's like.
So that's the thing with a lot of people who have like all these qualifications and stuff and get to a high up position. They never, like, a lot of people don't work their way up. in like management positions. They'll manage one company and then move over to manage a different company, so they don't understand from a base level. How many times has anyone in their standard day-to-day job just said like about their boss, like they have no fucking clue what it is to do my job? Like everyone fucking says it, don't they? Like, because like the chances are your boss hasn't ever done your job. Like, they've never been at your base level. Like, and the people who say they like their boss, it's generally because they've worked their way up and they do actually know what it's like to do whatever it is you happen to do.
Yeah, the problem is that a lot of people in these higher up positions know business-wise how to manage the store or the company or whatever, but have no idea how to manage people. They just see workers as worker ants, and you should just work. You're here, you're paid to do a job, do it.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest problem in all industries, not just the games industry.
I think we should probably move on before we start, because like we're very much hitting a political thing.
Yeah, we're almost sounding intellectual here. It's worrying.
Ellen rubbing off on us with her, like, you know, her cleverness and that. It doesn't fit in here, does it?
Brains.
I know. Can you believe it? I've got a degree. Look at me.
Yeah.
Look how well that worked out.
I nearly got a degree.
Oh, but you got it in games, and that doesn't count as a thing. Obviously, that's not.
And I didn't even get the degree, so.
So well, what does that say?
Yeah. So anyway, moving on.
If the game's a piece of piss and you couldn't even get a degree in it, come on, what is going on?
Do you
want to do Amazon?
Oh, I thought you were going to go on to Elder Scrolls next.
Well, that links into topic of the week, so we'll probably save that for last.
Okay, we'll
professional podcast.
I've done
segues.
Yeah, I've presented the last two. I'll allow you this, Amazon.
You're entirely too kind. You are. So, did you know Amazon addicts?
Wow,
did you
really?
Know? Yeah. So basically, for any of you, I'm sure most of you know, but Amazon have a service called Amazon Prime, where they do like one-day delivery, and they have their version of Netflix and stuff like that. But they're trialing it over here in the UK, but there's a good chance it'll go everywhere. Like the Hobbits will have to suffer from it, and everyone else.
Well, yep, we definitely will.
Yeah. So basically, they're saying that you need Amazon Prime to order certain games. And it's not just some shitty little, because Amazon have their own game studios, because like they have the Amazon Fire Stick, I think it's called, isn't it? Like their little plug-in thing. They've got games that they put on there and stuff like that. And like at first I thought, oh, that's just like they're self-publishing their games that can only be bought on Amazon, sort of thing. But no, it's stuff like Grand Theft Auto 5 is like a high-profile example. And it's just absolute fucking nonsense.
Basically, you won't be, if you don't have Amazon Prime, you won't be able to buy Grand Theft Auto 5 on Amazon.
Oh, no, off of Amazon, not on it, like off of them, because you can still buy off third-party sellers.
Yeah, but you won't be able to buy it off of them.
No, so that means like your 30-day money-back guarantee, like all of the stuff that Amazon would offer you. But my thing is, Amazon are usually fairly cheap, but they use Yodel for delivery, which are the biggest pile of wank stains on the planet for delivering anything. So that's already a good reason to not use Amazon for things. But would you not just go somewhere else? I know they're the biggest, but when you just say, okay, bye, I'm going to go use Play or whoever, literally anybody else.
I'll be honest, I would say about 99% of the time if I order anything off of amazon.co.uk, it's from a third-party person anyway. I don't normally buy straight from Amazon.
No.
So, because I just go for the cheapest one, and it's never Amazon.
No. Often it isn't, so I don't see it'd be different if they said, you can buy off us, but if you have Prime, we'll do you a discount. So say if you've got this Prime membership, you get 10 quid off or whatever. Do you know what I mean?
Off.
You know? So it'd be different if that was the case, but that's not what it is. It's just saying, if you ain't got Prime, fuck off then.
Yeah, we're only selling to Prime users now, basically.
Yeah, very much basically.
Only on certain games, it seems like. So GTA 5 is the highest priority one, like the highest profile one. But FIFA 16, Far Cry Primal as well.
So on these certain games, it's basically like they're saying, if you want to pay us money for the game, pay us more money for the membership first.
Yeah, and it's not even like Netflix where you can pay monthly. You have to pay a year up front.
Yeah.
So it's like 90 quid or whatever.
I think I took their 30-day free trial for Prime once, and even with it being free, it didn't seem worth it.
No,
like their version of Netflix.
There's fuck all on it.
Yeah, there's fuck all on it.
They got Vikings, and that's it, pretty much.
Yeah, Netflix swoops all the good shit up. So
Kung Fury.
Yes.
Kung
Fury. Yes. You missed our wonderful discussion on Kung Fury, Ellen.
I think it's worth going back. Have you seen it?
Kung Fury? No, I haven't, but everybody tells me I need to.
Oh you my God. What is wrong with you? Come on.
Lim told me about it.
Can you tell everyone what you teach at university?
I work in university and I teach media, film, and television studies.
How can you teach that and not have seen Kung Fury?
Thank you.
You need Kung Fury in your life. But like normally, Lim's recommendations, I'm a bit maybe, but that one he was spot on for a change.
Thank you. It's not even like a 3-hour movie, although it should be. It's entirely too short. It's it needs to be that so long.
Kickstarter, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
It was like 30 minutes long ish. And there's Hacker Man and there's a woman in like this sort of caveman outfit. I'm pretty sure she's like a really, really old haggard porn star or something because she looks like a proper state.
There's a barbarian woman with a minigun, which that kind of gives you the idea
a dinosaur.
Of how much sense this film makes, but it's fantastic.
Yes, best film ever. Best film ever. I mean, that's your homework for the day before Game of Thrones.
I will.
Yes.
I'll go first. Oh, and I see there is a video game, apparently.
Yeah, there's a side-scrolling thing on phones.
Oh, interesting.
Not as amazing as the film, sadly. But
they made a game of it?
Yeah, it's like a Streets of Rage type thing.
Oh.
It's not as good as you would hope it'd be, sadly.
The main character's acting is one. It's one of those performances where it's so bad and cheesy, it's funny.
Yeah, but
like,
it's the
so
point.
Bad, it's good. Yeah.
He's the director. He's the guy behind everything. Like he produced and directed and starred in it. Like, that's all his film. So it's obviously intentional to be like that. Or maybe he wrote that kind of film because he can't act. Possibly. That's a possibility.
He had to make an excuse for his bad acting.
Possibly. So yeah, Amazon. They're dicks. Next. There's Hearthstone 2 coming out. Basically. Hearthstone The Revenge.
But not with quite so many Murlocs.
No, so it's going to be shit. So there's a card game coming out from Bethesda called The Elder Scrolls Legend, free-to-play card game, and you look through the video and all of the description. It's Hearthstone. It is actually Hearthstone. You have a mana pool which goes up every turn. You have cards that have like your attack and health values. You have like different classes of cards. You have like cards which have battle cries, which have things that happen when they die. It is literally Hearthstone. You have like health which depletes. Yeah, it is literally Hearthstone.
Yeah.
The only difference is that you have this lane system where you can put minions on a certain side of the thing and then they can only attack minions on that side of the thing. Although I'd imagine there are spells and minions that can do something to the other side, and that's their effect. I would imagine.
It looks from the way like there's arrows going from certain cards to certain places. It's like the rules of Hearthstone, slightly aesthetic of Magic, with an Elder Scrolls theme over the top.
It seems a bit shit.
It's a bastardized card game of all different other already existing card games.
Yeah, and especially with the new expansion of Hearthstone, there's kind of no need for it to be a thing, to be honest.
But it is free. I mean, I'd probably, just out of morbid curiosity, with it being free, I'll give it a try and see what it's like.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, could, surprise you. You never know. Did you say it's free?
I thought you said
setting up a very forced segue.
Oh, yes, professionalism through the roof.
Did you say that game was free?
Free, you say?
I don't know where I'm going with this. Our topic of the week is free-to-play games. There was probably a segue in there somewhere for someone far more professional than us.
I'm sure someone will find it if they watch the VOD.
Yes, we're going to talk about free-to-play games and how they could be done right and
how they can
good examples, bad examples. Yes, basically Dungeon Keeper.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yep.
So, do you want to start us off?
Me, sir? You've got to remember, when you say, do you want to start us off, there are two other people in the conversation.
And? Your point being?
Professionalism would direct who you mean that to go to, sir.
Anyone. I don't care at this point.
Do you random people? Go on, Ellen, you go first.
All right, free-to-play games. So, obviously, we got the mobile and the more... Well, we got mobile free-to-play games that everybody's kind of been playing for a while.
They're the best ones.
I mean...
Always.
Yeah, of course they are. Like, I've seen that there's been a real push recently. Maybe it's just me who's seen this, to get people back into playing these free-to-play games on their mobiles. Like Cut the Rope, for example, had a special promotion. I don't know if this is them if they've had some decline, possibly, in people playing these on their mobile phones, and so this is their chance to try and rein people back in.
Because there has been a few mobile-wise, there has been some actually good paid-for games coming out, so I think people are actually kind of wising up a little bit. So maybe they're desperately trying to drag the people back to them.
Quite possibly, especially because now there seems to be a huge... And these free-to-play games, especially things like, well, essentially they're free-to-play, right? They're supposed to be. So like League of Legends and Hearthstone, I mean, these new games like, I think Duelist as well is a newer free-to-play game. I may be wrong.
I don't know.
These new games coming out. Duelist, it's very much somewhat of a cross between a Hearthstone and kind of turn-based strategy, if that makes sense. It's rather new. I've seen a couple of people play it. It's gaining popularity, but I have definitely seen, free to play. There is, in terms of how much they're free, there's always that kind of how far you can take that.
Yeah, the biggest thing with free-to-play games is whether they're actually free-to-play or whether they're freemium games, which is they're free initially, but then to carry on you have to pay, or whether they're out-and-out pay-to-win, which is the worst.
The pay-to-win.
Anything... we've mentioned before when we've mentioned microtransactions, I've got no problem with microtransactions at all, as long as, especially if it's a multiplayer focused game, as long as it's all cosmetic, because cosmetic doesn't give you an advantage. It's just you want to throw this skin on a character, fine. There you go. You've paid for it. It's up to you. But it's the games that are like, oh, we'll give you this amazing weapon or this loot chest that could give you an amazing weapon if you pay us. And it's like that kind of to me it makes it not a game anymore because you're not playing fairly.
Yeah, so, I think it's like games like Heroes of the Storm, which have that balance well, because it's free and you can unlock all of the characters just by playing the game and getting gold. Like I've bought the characters that I want to play as and stuff, but if you really wanted to, you can with money buy all of the characters, but they're not. It doesn't give you an advantage because you have the free rotation of characters.
So everyone gets a go.
Everyone. And, you know, there's not one character that is the best character. Every character has its strengths and weaknesses. So I think that's the difference. But then in some of these games, say, for example, something like Clash of Clans, you can spend money and have the best units or best... Yeah, so then it is literally paying to win because you pay the money, and you can grind to it, but you are paying for an end goal which is the best.
Which is probably the reason why I could never get into Clash of Clans, but I have I meant to mention this earlier, I have started playing Clash Royale.
Oh, you have?
Oh, yes. And I love it.
Okay. I mean, we can kind of talk about it here because it is a free-to-play game, I guess.
And I think Clash Royale is very fair in the way it does its microtransactions because, yes, you can dump stupid amounts of money to get loads more cards and stuff, but all you're basically doing is paying to get up to the level where the people who already have those cards are.
And if they've grinded to that point, they're going to fucking destroy you.
Yeah, because they're better at the strategy of the game. My strategy at the moment still is just throw shit on the screen because I'm still low level. Just throw
that's
stuff
not
out
the
there
way you play, though.
No.
What you do is you let your mana get up to 10, and then the best players will always be reactionary. They'll always let the other person make a move, play your unit which will destroy that unit, and then make your push. Let them waste their mana ineffectively on crap, basically.
I am starting to learn how to counter different things, what counters what, and things like that. At the moment, I'm going for a heavily skeleton-based deck because I like just throwing loads of shit at people in one go. But if they've got
have you got the witch? That's a purple.
Yes, I have the witch.
Okay.
I have the witch at level 2 at the moment.
Ooh.
So, but I'm sorry. Have you played Clash Royale at all, Ellen?
No, I have. I've managed to, I would say, stay. I don't know if stay away is the right word from those Clash of Clans, Clash Royale, but I have very much become addicted.
Oh god,
to
here
things
we go.
Like Candy Crush and Count the Rope.
You're banned. You're banned forever.
I feel your pain. I did go through a small period where I loved Candy Crush for some unknown reason.
Why the fuck did I decide you would be a suitable co-host for this show? Every sign points to you being literally the worst. I mean, you play MOBAs and you play Candy Crush. I mean, why even? What is going on? Fuck me. That was going to be one of my examples of the absolute worst of free-to-play. Every level is designed, apart from the first 10 fucking levels, which are made to be incredibly easy. They give you all of the bright colours and the sparkly, all the sparkly lights and the nice sounds and that to make it seem like you're really fucking good. And then they make it intentionally so you don't have enough moves to do what you need to do to beat the level.
Or they make the random placement enough so that 9 times out of 10 when you start a level it's already impossible.
Yeah, exactly. Unless you basically do it 100 times and then they'll give you the they'll give you the RNG to get through the level. And you have to keep asking friends on fucking Facebook, which I've already banned that.
Oh.
I'll be honest. The harassment that people who really get into those games do of their friends on Facebook is
they're all bored housewives. That's the general gist of, like, especially on my friends list. It's all like 40, 50-year-old women on their laptops. Honestly, like people who I work with who are that sort of age, like as they get home and they play stuff like that in like Farmville or any of these sort of little clicker games, which you click on something for about 5 minutes and then wait.
Yeah. Clickers are probably my most hated free-to-play games because there's not even a game in there. It's 20 minutes and it got more... I don't understand people who enjoy those clickers.
No.
Because there's no actual game.
No, I don't understand it. Like, that's the biggest scourge of those kind of games is the sort of the waiting kind of thing, where you have to, like, they'll say you need more moves, like more goes, or you have to wait this amount of time. And even Clash Royale, a game I actually quite like, does it with its chest. So I say, you got this chest here, it's gonna have some cool cards that you might want, but you're gonna have to wait 16 hours before you can open it, and it's just a fucking joke. Like you say, but you can, if you want it now, you can pay to have it now. And that's the biggest thing, like the pay to wait thing.
That's like, I know it's not in a free to play game, but like I mentioned the other week, it's weird that mechanic got put into such a AAA title as Dragon Age Inquisition, that you have your war table and you click a mission, click who's going to do it, and then it can be like, wait up to 36 hours and then you'll get a result from it. And it's like, why? I'm trying to play a game, not watch a timer.
Yeah.
I think they did the same thing in Halo, the newest one. Similar microtransaction system, I'm pretty sure.
Well, the requisitions things, I think, did I talk about it last week before? Talked about it, like, it's in certain modes you can basically pay to have the best weapons and the best vehicles and stuff, like right from the start, which is completely fucking stupid. And I mean, I know it's not a free to play game, but it's an example of microtransactions. Like, it's just fucking
leaking into them.
It's an absolute joke, that system. And like I said about, like, quite a lot of people have paid for them, so there's a good chance in the next Halo there'll be more, and probably even more invasive. It's like Nina Lee is saying in chat, our current queen of the nerd list, that she's never paid like once for for something in these games, and I think in a lot of the cases that's games would consider that a failure, like, because their goal, like most of these free-to-play games from their core, are very much trying to make you pay games. They're preying on you, and they try and do everything they can to get you to buy stuff. Like, they'll put it up on the screen, like big letters saying that you have no more moves, you can buy them, and things like that. Like, they throw it right in your face.
Yeah. Like I said, I've got no problem with microtransactions of any kind, really, as long as they're done subtly, as long as they're like at the side. If you click, if you happen to find it in a menu that you can pay for this, but it's when they interrupt your game and stick it right, especially on mobile games, stick it right in the middle of the screen, like, you are out of time, wait this long, or pay $2.99, or especially when they do special offer prices on their own microtransactions.
They're not fooling anybody. I would hope. For a
limited time only, you can only pay 10 quid, and it used to be 15. It's like, no, it was never 15. You're just being...
Or even if it was, who cares? It's still money that shouldn't be spent.
Yeah.
Still
it's
money
because
like that.
of this culture a few years ago when there was like things at conventions, panels of how to retain whales and monetize them and all that, and it's a disgusting part of the game.
Have you seen the episode of South Park about free-to-play games?
Yes. I don't think so.
That's really funny,
brilliant.
And it's so true, because like they're not. I'd say more than 90% of people don't spend a penny on these games. They say like 5% do. That's their only demographic with these games. They're the only people they're actually interested in. Like for these companies like Zynga and like these companies who purely make these kind of games, Gameloft and stuff.
Yeah.
Like there's a few people, like a small group of people who have. Basically, they have more money than sense, really, and they're just, well, let's call them what they are. They're fucking idiots. People who buy these microtransactions in these games, like where you run a cafe or, these like real bottom of the barrel free to play games.
Yeah. What makes me laugh though is that there's all these free to play ones that are like business management or whatever type games. There is a company, I don't know whether you've seen their stuff, called Kairosoft.
Yes, they've got literally hundreds.
But they basically took that idea and like 90%, they have done a couple of free to play, but 90% of their games are that style, but you pay for, and there's none of the bullshit in it. There's no timed waiting, there's no energy systems, nothing. If you want to play a management game on your phone, they're the guys to go to.
Yeah, they have like restaurants, cafes, like, all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I did play the Dungeon Village. That's one of the ones they do, isn't it?
Where you build up a village and heroes come to it and you outfit them with your shops and things like that. Yeah. The first English one I think they did, because they're a Japanese company. The first one they actually ported into English was called was a game dev tycoon, where you made your own video games, and it actually came out before the one that everybody knows on the PC. And it's basically the same game, but you can play it whilst taking a poop. So they're a really good company. I really like them. I'm surprised more companies haven't taken the free to play styles of games and made them into proper games. Like these guys.
Well, they are out there. Like there are plenty of management games out there for those that those that want them. So the thing, we talk about the absolute scourge of the industry, like the shit side of it. There are good examples as well.
Yeah.
Like I say, we said earlier about like Hearthstone has quite a good way of doing it, because everything can be earned in game. Heroes of the Storm. Loadout is probably the best example of it, because there is at no point any need. A lot of the good ones do it the same way. It's like nothing that you need to play the game or get good at the game.
Yeah, everything
in any capacity.
Cosmetic.
Yeah, it's just when you finish a match, like you have a leaderboard type screen where the top 3 players are on a podium, and you can do like a dance, or like you can do like a gesture, and you can pay for those. Like if you want to do Gangnam Style, I remember as being one of them, you can have that.
Why
if you really
am I not surprised?
Well, this was back around the time that it was a big thing. No, never dropped a penny on that game. But as like an example, if you really want that, and if you want your dude to look more like Rambo, you can pay for that. But like in terms of like your guns and your abilities within the game, you never have to. It's all in game. Everything's in game, and there's no things to progress you to get your in-game currency. There's no like boosters or any of that shit where they say, you can grind at a very slow rate, or you can pay to have 10 times experience for the next however many games, or any of that kind of thing. None of that.
I don't know if you two agree with me, but I find that the free-to-play games that do it fairly like that make me more inclined to purchase some of the cosmetic stuff as a way of supporting the devs for
them
giving
doing
me
it
a
the
good
right
game.
way. Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
like
You see him
that's
doing it
why-
properly, so you're like, yeah, I will give you a £5.
That's why I've dropped probably more money than I should on the skins on Heroes of the Storm, because I feel like this is a really solid product, a really good game, and I didn't have to pay for it. Here you go. I'll throw you £7 for a random skin that makes my Gazlo look like he's a giant psychotic clown punching people. Yeah, fine.
Like the cynic in you'll say that that's exactly what they want. They want to seem like the good guy and doing it well, so that you will take the sympathy route and give them the money.
If the way they get that is by making a solid product, then everyone wins because we get the solid product out of it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not even going to say how much I've spent on Hearthstone. Like, but the thing is,
God.
for all the times I buy packs, I get just as many in game. Like,
yeah.
I mean, if I really wanted to, I'd play it enough that I could just get them. You know,
see, I don't save gold up like you do in that game, because
I'm only saving it up for this new expansion. I normally just spend it on arena runs.
Yeah, I was about to say most of my gold goes on arena runs, which I can go through a lot of gold in that because I lose a lot.
Yeah, it is because you're rubbish at that game. That is true.
Well, no, I have found. I don't know whether you find the same thing, but I have found that arena runs have become less successful the more cards they've put into it, because you have a bigger pool to draw from. You've got even less chance of finding
getting something good. There is a handful of cards that are very, very good in arena, and like, you know, you're hoping you get like a piloted shredder. You know, you're hoping for these set cards.
Yeah, and if you don't get them, you basically hope you wind up against people who got even worse draw.
My funniest instance is I had a mage deck where polymorph come up 14 times. I didn't pick it 14 times, funnily enough, but it was in 14 of my drafts.
How many times did you pick it?
3 in the end. But the thing is, because I didn't want so many of them, I was having to pick shit cards
to get away from the polys.
Yeah. It's ridiculous.
I've had that with what's the is it the Wild Pyromancer? That one that when you do a spell, it does 1 damage.
Yeah.
I did an arena run once where, I'm not kidding, I think only 2 of my choices didn't have him in it.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous.
It really wanted me to have a lot of him for some reason.
He's a good card to have 1 or 2 of, but he's good for AoE.
A lot of spells to throw out.
Yeah. It's just silly. But yeah, I suppose we'll probably talk about Hearthstone quite a lot next week, but
yeah.
It is one of the best examples of how to do free to play, right? Like, literally everything in the game. Just trying to think if there's anything you can only pay for.
No, I think everything.
The heroes skins.
Yeah, the hero skins.
Yeah,
which all the only difference in them is the like, obviously the picture, and they say different lines.
Things and have little animated intros, don't they?
Yeah, but, I actually, on a side note to that, I don't know if either of you got it, but I bought the mage one they did for WWF.
No, I didn't.
Either you bought it. Like,
I did one.
That was kind of a weird thing. Like, some people that rubbed them up a bit the wrong way. Like, they did a promotion for a week. I think it was last week now, where like the World Wildlife Federation were doing a promotion with a bunch of games where they were doing a bunch of exclusive content, and if you bought whatever it was all the money went to charity, like every single penny of it. And for £4 they were doing a mage skin for Hearthstone, so
that's cool.
That wasn't so bad. At least it was for charity and not for their own back pockets.
I think another one of the best examples that we haven't touched on yet is Smite. because the sheer fact of Smite is free to play, but gives you the option of, all right, if you want all these characters, you can get them within game. You can buy them yourself individually if you want, or give us about 30 quid and you can have every single character and every character we ever release.
Yes, and it's like 25 quid or something?
Something like that. Okay,
not horrendously expensive in comparison to like how much it would cost to buy everything in Heroes.
Yeah. And the fact that they give you that option and turn around and say any character we ever make in the future, you can have that as well as part of the price. It's ridiculous value for money. It's really good. And it's an awesome game on its own as well.
Yeah, I think honestly, like if I was going to play a MOBA, I'd play Heroes though, to be honest. Smite is pretty cool, but it's got an item system. Can't be dealing with it.
Yeah, but you can...
I know you can auto, but I still think that if you knew the items and you spec'd your character, you'd still be better.
I think the easiest thing is like the middle ground of that, of don't sort of learn the items yourself and do it if you don't want to. Just go online and find the latest build for the character that you're using, because there's wikis of them all over the place.
Yeah, that is true. So we haven't touched on Dungeon Keeper yet, have we?
Do we have to mention that piece of shit?
Well, that is the example, other than Candy Crush, which is obviously a big old steaming pile of shit and shouldn't be a thing. But other than that, Dungeon Keeper is the absolute worst, I think, for free to play. Yeah, and I think that's made even worse because a lot of people really loved the series it borrowed from. Like, I'd never played it because it was an old PC title back when I had like a Mega Drive and stuff. But
oh no, Dungeon Keeper 2 was the shit, man. It was amazing.
So have you played the mobile version? I
refuse to touch it because I've seen it.
Yeah.
It's a travesty. It's like the whole, for those people that don't know the original Dungeon Keeper games, basically you got given a cave, a basement, and you used your little imps to mine it out and then built different portals and a gold room and loads of chickens for your monsters to eat, and you built out this evil base and you defended it from attackers, or you went and attacked the heroes. In the mobile version, each square that you mine out can take hours to mine out.
Sometimes some of them are like a day, aren't they? Like a literal day.
Yeah.
And of course, you can pay to make that go straight away.
Out of the goodness of their hearts.
Of course, because we wouldn't want to waste your time. We're EA. But
you sarcastic fucker. That's sarcasm for the Americans who don't understand British humour.
But it's just a cash grabby. It's trading on the nostalgia, like we mentioned with games before. They're trading on the people who adored the original. And the thing that really makes me annoyed is Dungeon Keeper 2 was amazing, but the other EA property that they've done the same fucking thing to, that is from a series that I loved, was, have you seen the latest theme park for mobile?
And PC. It's on Steam as well, isn't it?
Is it on Steam?
I think it's on Steam.
I know.
No. It's Roller Coaster Tycoon is the new one that they bastardized. Yeah.
EA did a new theme park for mobile, which had the same crap, like timed things for building your roller coasters, and it was. I mean,
in a way, couldn't you make that to your advantage? Build half a roller coaster and then just say fuck it, off you go? Because isn't that half of the fun of those kind of games? To half build a roller coaster and make them go on it anyway.
I don't think you could let people on it until it was finished.
Oh, fuck that game then.
Yeah, and I don't know about you, but Theme Park World, all those old Bullfrog games, I adored them. I
loved Theme Park World. Absolutely
Yeah.
I
loved
used
that
to
game.
play Theme Park World all the time as a kid.
I
All
remember
the time.
I remember when I first played Theme Park World, and it was like, press this button and you can go into first person and ride the roller coaster
That was
you
amazing.
just built.
Oh,
And my little mind was blown. I couldn't believe it. And actually walking around and seeing people throwing up after they've got off your...
That's the real goal of that game, is to see how many people you can make your ride so insane and sick that they're all sick.
And then I'd heard about the Dungeon Keeper thing, and I was like, oh, I like Dungeon Keeper. That's a bit of a shitty move. And
so
then
before you say about the free-to-play thing, because I haven't played, what was the actual Dungeon Keeper supposed to be like?
The actual
like
Dungeon Keeper, it's like I said, it's they've kept the same idea of the game, but all they've done is plastered all this, every single square you mine out and everything you try and build takes time, and you can pay us in gems, which are a premium currency, to skip that time. They've basically taken the Dungeon Keeper and stripped all the soul out of it and just made it a massive time sink.
So the original one was a base builder type thing then?
Yeah, Dungeon Keeper is basically you are an evil dude basically trying to build up your evil domain underground, and you'd mine out the walls, try and find gold, build different portals or different things. Like, it had a really interesting system of how you got your different minions as well, because you had to build the room that would attract them in through your portal. So like if you wanted wizards, you had to build a library, because of course all wizards are intellectual, because
obviously
Ellen's a wizard.
No.
And
no, New Zealand is home to hobbits. The wizards are English.
Oh, that's right. Sorry.
Remember, Gandalf
You
is
are
English.
our overlords, I forgot.
You need to stop saying that, because otherwise I will start singing "The Hobbits Have Gone to Iceland."
Go on, serenade us.
No. But yeah, basically you were a base builder, and it kind of had a story of like you were trying to take over more and more territory as you mined underground and take out dwarves and things, and you'd have random heroes in shining armor come in, and you'd send a legion of orcs and wizards and that just to melt their face in the middle. And you could set up traps as well. It was a complete base builder. And EA just went, how about we take everything that you do in this game and give it a time limit so that people get frustrated and pay us money for it? Yay.
Seems good.
Yes.
So I don't know if there's any other ones you guys wanted to talk about, but the only other like big area in terms of free-to-play things we haven't touched on is, I guess, MMOs. Like, there's a lot of MMOs that started off with paid subscription models, and then either just because of age or because they lost a lot of their player base went free to play.
Yeah, that's the main reason an MMO goes free to play after a while, is to try and draw in a bigger player base.
Yeah, either like to make up numbers they've lost or to build upon it for people who don't want to be paying £10 a month. Because like, I know you played a lot of Knights of the Old Republic, and that's one that is that.
Yeah, that is the ultimate example of that. Of they released it, and they got because it was Star Wars, initially a lot of people in it, and then everyone was kind of like, oh, I'm not a big MMO player, but one of the big things for MMO players is end game content. Is after you've done the story, what raids have you got, what gear have you got? And there wasn't any in vanilla Old Republic. There was hardly anything, so a lot of people just left, and they were like, crap, we've got these expansions planned and all these updates planned, but we're losing people playing it, so all right, sod it, we'll go free to play. And it kind of spoiled it in a way, because I don't know how it is now. I haven't played it for a long while, but especially when it first went free to play, they kind of made you feel bad for not paying for the game, because even in like the early quests and stuff, you'd finish a quest and it'd come up with the little window saying, here's the experience you got, here's the items you got. And then there'd be little grayed out items and money amounts that were like, this is what you would have got if you were a subscriber. And it's like, that's a bit of a dick way of doing it. I don't know if they still do that or not. I've heard since a recent patch, you can literally, as a free-to-play person, go through playing only the main story missions, and they've altered the leveling. So if you're just in it for the story, you can only do the story and still level enough to get through the game, which is nice. It seems they've learnt from it. But I remember when it first started, it was basically they were going, look at what shiny stuff you get if you were subscribed to us.
Like, well, the biggest thing that pissed me off is not being able to run. That was really fucking stupid.
Yeah, I think that's still in the game. And also, I believe if you're a free-to-play person, you still have to wait another 5 or 10 levels before you can ride a mount than you would if you're a subscriber.
Oh, so you have so you still get them, but just not till later.
You can still get the mounts, you just can't use them for a certain level cap if you're a free to play person. The running, I thought it was stupid even before they limited it that running was an ability as it was. The fact that when they
am free, so my legs they no move quick.
Yeah, the fact that when they went free to play, they were like, oh, for the first 10 levels, you can only walk. It was clearly a thing to try and piss people off enough that they paid to be able to do it. Which I don't know if it's still in the game, I can't say, but that was a dick move.
Yeah.
Which is a shame because I personally think it's one of the better MMOs out there because of the story, because it's basically Knights of the Old Republic 3, or as close as we're going to get anyway.
In the meantime, we can still hope. Because
from what people have said is that the vanilla game wasn't that close to Knights of the Old Republic, but from what people have said, the latest expansion, literally the developers went, fuck it, we want to make KOTOR 3, and have made it a lot more like the original games. So it's less MMO-y and more BioWare RPG, basically.
Yes.
But I can't be asked to wait for my internet to download all that anymore on a new computer, so I probably won't play it.
No. As I say, because I know World of Warcraft have a free version as well, but they lock off a lot of content on their free version because it's not a free to play game. Like, you're level capped. Once you hit 20, you can't go past that. So it's more like a big demo, like a trial.
It's a free trial.
Yeah,
it's a free trial of the game.
Essentially, that's not proper free to play MMO. Not like something like another one of them. I think it's called Rift. Was it called Rift?
Yes,
that's
I
a free to
Rift
play
as well.
Oh, did you? What's that like?
Yeah.
Because that's another one that was sub-based and now is.
Yeah, I played it. I played Rift when it went free to play. It was dull. It was a boring game, in my opinion.
Or is it just a copy and paste of WoW?
It kind of is, but its only unique feature was the Rift system. The Rift idea is that as you're playing, these random tears in reality would just open up and things would pour out of it, and everybody in that area could go and fight and do a big battle all cooperatively, even if they weren't grouped together. And like, depending on how well you did, different loot would be passed out to everyone. That was the only thing it had going for it. Other than that, it was boring as sin. It was but then again, I'm not an MMO player, but I have heard other people who are MMO players who all said, nah, it was a pile of wank, basically. So
yeah. Is there any other sort of games and things you want to cover? Like, Alan, you got any other examples we haven't touched on?
MMOs?
Oh, no, just in general.
I've really never played an MMO, so I
just
know a
in
lot of
general,
people
like
do play
normal
MMOs.
games, anything like
just
free to play.
Any free to play. I guess what I saw a lot of, I don't know if it's considered free to play, but in terms of like starting off a game free and then kind of changing it into be paid, something that happened. Maybe it was just a trend that happened a couple of years ago, but I remember that on the iOS store, when the first Walking Dead came out, the Telltale game, the first episode was free. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I think in that instance, that's more the case of as a trial to try and get you hooked.
They let you have the first episode for free to see if you like the rest of it.
Yeah, so you get invested in the characters, and obviously because that series is really good, you'll like it. You'll get invested in the characters, and that's sort of like more of a ploy to get you to then buy the rest of the episodes. But then it's different in that once you bought them, that's that. Like, there's no microtransaction to not have a zombie bite your face or something.
Yeah. I think the worst example I ever have, I mean, that wasn't really bad though. I thought that was interesting because then I guess it gave everybody opportunity to try the game at least and see if they liked it, which I thought was quite nice. But then there was this game that I like. I'll preface this by saying I like point and click games a lot.
Nothing wrong with the point and click.
And Lim makes fun of me all the time for loving these point and click games.
What are you on about?
I like old point. I like Monkey Island. I love
these games are not on that level of Monkey Island, trust me.
All right. Okay, so I really like this Dracula point and click series. Some of them are a bit hidden object, but there was this one that I got on my mobile, Dracula 3 Path of the Dragon, and I downloaded it and I was like, oh, free to play game. And of course I didn't see the kind of fine print, obviously. And I get halfway through it and it gets to a really exciting bit and then it's like, pay so and so more to see the rest of this game. And I was like, no.
This is why, especially with mobile games, if it's free, the first thing I do is read the reviews, because if there is any you need to pay to continue in the game, that people rant about that shit in the reviews straight away.
Yeah, so this is true.
But so are we talking point and clicks or find hidden object games? Because hidden object games can go fuck themselves.
Yeah.
Well, it's not really so much hidden object. It's like the thing is though that these games that I liked, these kind of Dracula games, they started off as like kind of point and click, a lot of puzzle stuff, and became hidden object.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's because like the recent ones. I don't know if that's because.
How many games are in that series? Just out of interest.
I think there's like at least 7 now.
Because there's so many stories to tell in that universe that they need to make these point and click games.
I don't know why it is that on phones hidden object games have been, it must be the same bored housewives that play Candy Crush, because
maybe
for me hidden object games aren't games.
No, I'm not a huge
just
fan
tap the screen until you tap on the right bit of the screen.
Yeah.
It reminds me of like the Where's Wally or Where's Waldo books when you were a child. It's like they're things that keep kids amused. I don't like if anyone likes them, fair enough, but then I don't see the point of hidden object games personally.
There's a difference between something like that and like The Room. I don't know if you've played that, which is like actually a proper kind of puzzle game within that kind of style, where you actually have to use brain cells and not just mindlessly tap the screen to progress.
Yeah. I just didn't like how they changed. I don't know what it was, this move towards hidden object. I'm not a huge fan of hidden object games. It seems like these games that were kind of these puzzle point and click then became the hidden object games because of the popularity of them.
I think it started on Facebook. I remember noticing
Blame Farmville.
a huge, well, no, Farmville, a huge rise of actual hidden object games on Facebook, and it was like Sherlock Holmes or The Great Mystery or this, that, and the other, and they were all these weird hidden object games, and it was like, why is this becoming a thing? I don't get
know. I think it's because people who aren't gamers and that there's a thing that they can suddenly do that doesn't take effort. Like they can actually, they can do these stupid little games. It doesn't take any skill or challenge or effort. Time wasters.
There are a lot of people that aren't real gamers that don't. I don't think they realise how bad these games actually are because they don't give a fuck. They
don't give a fuck about like Dragon Age or something like that. That's they're not gamers.
They've gone in at, and they think that's the level video games are. Whereas if they were introduced to other things, they might realise. But
yes, Wii Sports, the pinnacle, wagging a stick about to make a thing happen.
Oh.
I still remember with that game when I first played it round yours, when you had a Wii and you had a go at me because I'd mastered the technique and you were moaning because I wasn't doing the proper movement of doing a full swing. Because all you have to do with that game with bowling is just 2 flicks to the right, 1 to the left once you pressed A, and just do like a little flick, and then that's insta strike.
Whereas I was standing there being like doing the proper full bowling motion.
Like a fucking knobhead. Yeah. Oh dear, I'll never forget that. God. Sorry, my hacks are too good.
It's quite funny. I recently saw an article about the bloke who has the world record for bowling on Wii Sports of like 700 perfect games, and he's like
he gets laid a lot.
He's like a 73-year-old bloke who just sits,
oh my god,
he sits in his chair in front of it and just flicks the controller forward, and he's got like 700 perfect games that he's recorded his scores in a notebook.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. That's the one good thing for those like the games on Wii. Like, it's like good for like older generation to get a bit active. Like, I don't know, people who can't necessarily go out for a jog or something, they can just like wave their arms about a bit with tennis and that, and it's something, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's
you can play with your grandkids.
I was going to say, allowed like the older generation to play with their grandkids at stuff like that.
Yeah. But yeah, welcome to bonusXP. We always talk about what we're meant to.
What was the topic again?
Free-to-play game.
But how much we hate anything that has point and click in it. I think that was the general gist of it.
Oh, wow.
That was the general gist of the topic.
There are some amazing point and click games out there.
Do you play them?
They're just beyond your level. I do play them. Okay, this is coming from the person who... Okay, this person here, Mr. Lim, bought me Hatterful Boyfriend. So we can't be going on the bandwagon of I hate point and click and I hate these games.
I'm not the one playing it.
No, Lim. You have a secret attraction for pigeons. You can't.
Yeah, but they're not point and click games. They're interactive novels. Difference.
Oh, so different.
Because I'm not having these fucking wanky Dracula games being put into the same conversation or something like Danganronpa or something.
Fantasy. Oh, I've got the wanky Dracula game.
That's essentially what Twilight is, isn't it?
There are some brilliant, amazing point and click games out there, like Fran Bow, which is really good. Fran Bow is amazing.
I'm sorry.
Summer Roast.
Sorry, just for a second then I thought you were going to say there are some amazing Twilight games out there.
There are some amazing Twilight games.
I was going to throttle you through the screen.
I'm sure. I don't doubt that there are some fan fiction Twilight games, but
I can imagine
whether they're
that
good or
if
not.
Twilight did have a game, it would be a terrible free-to-play mobile game. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, there are amazing point and click games. I mean, Fran Bow is great. Summer Roast, those amazing point and click
Fran Bow's
games.
Fran Bow's that one with the girl who starts off in the mental hospital, isn't it?
Yeah, Fran Bow, is that one. It's
Yeah.
actually really good. I suggest if you're into that kind of, it's very gothic and very kind of, it's set during World War 2, I believe. You're on a mission to find your cat. It's very kind of Alice in Wonderland, kind of gothic. It's very nice. I like it.
I've seen a few people play it, and that is the sort of that does look a very good game and very twisted as hell. But yeah,
go right over limbs here, so we don't have to.
The reason Lim writes off all point and click games is because decent point and click games take logic.
Oh, have you ever played Grim Fandango? Have you ever played Grim Fandango?
Grim Fandango is old school, and that is fucked up logic.
Yeah, a lot of these old school point and click games, there is no fucking logic to how you solve some of these puzzles.
The old ones like Monkey Island and Grim Fandango, the logic was in a very tired developer's head that nobody could get.
So if you want to, open this door, to get this key, you tie a shovel to this wasp, which you then send over a hill to dig up a thing, and then brings it back to you, and it's like, what?
But that's what made those games fun. That's the humour of Monkey Island. I need to play Grim Fandango because everybody's always said that's amazing.
Have you got the remastered version? I'm pretty sure I've got it in my Steam library.
Yeah, I haven't. I should pick it up. I need.
I know it was free on PlayStation Plus, wasn't it?
I know it was, and I forgot to download it.
What scrub?
Yeah, but I like point and click games. I remember they did like a not a remake, but a new version of Monkey Island quite a few years ago. That was like an episodic thing. I think it was on the 360. I had it, and that had some of the weirdest. It was like you said, like to get access onto this boat, you had to go up to an indent on the floor and pour paste in it to make a seal, and then take this cast over to a guy with a wooden leg, and it was like, what? I just get on the boat. Get on the boat.
Yes, it is somewhat convoluted. So yeah, free to play. That's the thing.
Yeah. Sometimes we wish it wasn't, but sometimes it's good.
Yes, that is the answer to our very long and ultimately pointless conversation we just had, I think.
Yeah.
It's a thing. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not good.
Yeah. I think this
solving the world's issues.
This is kind of the point of this podcast, is we waffle on about bollocks and come to no clear decision for about 3 hours.
Other than you're a scrub.
And
that we know for certain. That's my word, you may not say that.
I don't care, I've nicked it.
No, Fanny Flap and Ring Biscuit are mine. You can't have either of those.
Ring Biscuit?
Yeah.
Do I want to know?
Well, it's I like the insult because Ring Biscuits is kind of silly, and Ring Biscuits are actually quite nice. Things like Party Rings and Jammy Dodgers and such are actually quite nice, so even though it's an insult, you can't be too angry at it.
I'm broken. Okay.
You fucking Ring Biscuit. I love it. I'm fond of it.
Is the more extreme version a soggy Ring Biscuit?
Yeah. And that is where we end the show for today, ladies and gentlemen, because we're not going down that road. We're not. Right, slick professional stuff. Let's do some of that, shall we?
Do we have to? We haven't done it for 3 hours.
This is true. This is actually like our longest episode we've ever done.
It's getting there.
We have properly waffled on shit today. Like my slick professionalism of trying to keep us on topic has just very much gone out of the window today. It's just not happened.
I didn't realise you ever had that skill.
No, I haven't. So this is a problem.
Well, I would personally like to say thank you for eventually joining us, Ellen.
Yes.
It was lovely to have you here.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
So, you've been listening to the Bonus XP podcast, the most professional podcast on the internet, as you may well have surmised from the last 3 hours of absolute fucking nonsense.
Absolute fuckery.
Yeah, yes. You can catch us live at twitch.tv/lim89 every Sunday at 6pm GMT. You can come and get involved in the conversation and call Martin a dick and cheer everybody on who tackles the nerd list. And then on Monday, the VOD goes up on YouTube. You can just search bonusXP podcast, and we're there. You can come and watch it there if you missed the live show. And then on Wednesday, the audio podcast goes live on all podcast services, SoundCloud, iTunes, anything you happen to use on Android, it's there. So thanks everybody for coming and listening and hanging out with us. And we'll see you all next week. Bye.
Bye.